Hello. How is everyone tonight? Welcome back to the Hotspur Hood. Just wanted to start by saying the very first stream I did for Dan's show, he was courteous enough to let me do my own one, went very well. And I just wanted to say I appreciate all your support. I feel like I'd be doing you guys a wrong turn if I didn't say that. We've got a very interesting show tonight. As you can see, we've got Dan and Stel. Tonight is basically going to be a deep dive on Frank. I want us to, by the end of it, come to a conclusion as to whether or not we feel he is the right man or not. Look, there's going to be a bit of everything. It's going to be a bit of a debate, a bit of a conversation. There'll be agreeing, disagreeing. Overall, it'll probably be a war of opinion, if anything. So again, what we're going to do is we've got Dan here. He is going to be our referee. Should we need one? We may not. Should we need one? He's going to be our adjudicator. And obviously our special guest, the man, the myth, the legend, Stelios. There you go, mate. You have an intro for you, pal. How are you boys doing tonight? You all right? Do you know what? In my head, I had that planned so much better, but we'll talk about it after.
Same Spurs, different year, I suppose, isn't it? Same Spurs, different year.
Yeah. Still.
Was that a clip from Sparta?
It was, mate. It was indeed, yeah. Screaming. Yeah.
Lord. Happy New Year, guys. Happy New Year to both of you. Happy New Year to the chat. Happy New Year to everyone. Here we go again. Another year. Another one.
Oh, come on. Now. Let's be positive, boys. It's a new year.
I'm smiling. I'm happy.
It's a new Spurs. Okay, all right, okay. Well, fellas, what I wanted to do tonight was just to catch up on a few current events, just to glaze over them real quick, just whilst more people join us. So transfer-wise, we have sold Johnson. That's a done deal. That's finished today. He is gone. We've got rid of Solomon. Now that's going to be a loan with an option to buy. I'd like to think he's gone at the end of the season. And Kota Takai. Boy, are we going to miss him. Yeah, but what's your thoughts on Johnson, Stel?
I don't think he's a good football player, but he got goals for us. And look, do you know what? It doesn't matter what I think because he's gone. Frank doesn't want him. The club have backed Frank by getting rid of him because clearly Frank has requested him not to be at the club. We only recently signed him a couple of years ago. So as long as we bring in someone that can score goals, then it's a good move because we couldn't bring on Johnson against Brentford last night and tell me how that worked for us because we didn't score anything. We need goal scorers at this club. If it's not going to be Johnson, fair enough. I don't have an issue with that, but bring in a goal scorer, someone that can get 10, 15 goals a season. Otherwise, what are we doing here?
So, no, I agree. I mean, look, the less said about last night, the better. Yeah, considering our debate today, I don't think it's a good idea we bring that up. But we'll maybe go into another look. Look, for me, Brennan Johnson is a bit of an enigma. If you didn't watch him play and someone handed you a bit of paper with his overall statistics on it, his goals and his assists, you'd probably say, why the fuck are you getting rid of him? You know, he clearly delivers. But that same person goes and watches clips of him, goes and watches a full game of him. He'd very quickly understand as to why he's being sold. The only thing I find a bit strange is, to my understanding, Frank wanted him at Brentford. Are you boys aware of that?
Or did Brentford want him?
Well, you'd naturally assume Frank, right? Surely. I'm sure this has come up in an interview, and Frank has turned around and said, "Yeah, we were interested in him." I don't know, but I mean, for me personally, fellas, and again, I don't know if
at Brentford. He was at Brentford.
Well, he doesn't want him anymore. So
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. I will just say though, and look, Stel, I know you are a massive fan of Enoch. I completely understand that, and that's fine. Yeah. However, joking aside, do you think this is a notch towards Enoch? Beginning to act like a bigger club, because the thing is, it's not like us to sell a player after a couple of years and make good money on it. He is our fourth largest transfer fee we've raked in. And for me, I mean, look, I know it's not saying anything.
We've lost 17 million pounds on him.
Yeah, I suppose you've got a point, but at the same time, he wasn't being used, and he is going to be probably third choice when that other right winger comes in. If he was to stay and we were to pick up another one. He would be third choice between what? Kudus, the ginger twat, what's his name?
The only players I think we've made money on was Harry Kane, because he was free. He came through the academy. We sold him for 100 million.
Yeah.
Gareth Bale, we bought him for whatever we did. We sold him for 85 million.
12,
Kevin Wimmer, we sold him for 10 million. I think we bought him for 3. So there's not many players we make money on. Johnson, we've lost 17 million pounds.
We got some money back on him though, and usually we'd hang on to someone until they're worth about 5-10 mil and then get rid of them as such. So we got some money back basically, which makes changes first, doesn't it?
We normally get some money back for most players. We got money back.
Hardly any.
We got money back. In fact, I think we made a profit on Berbatov. That's a lie. Made a profit on Berbatov.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
we made.
Yeah, but we're going back 20 years ago, though. I mean,
well, Harry Winks recently, we made money on him because he was free. Skip, we made money on that. We made, someone's just said.
But overall,
we made money on.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout. But overall, do you not think the way we do things, we don't tend to sell at the right time with a lot of players? I mean, I could give you a million examples. Basuma being one of them. Basuma's never really quite worked out for Spurs. He's had a couple of good games here and there. we've now run him into his final year of his contract, and he's practically worthless to us. Again, there's a host of others, but I just don't think we're great at selling.
Happens with a lot of clubs. Anyway, give me 2 minutes. I just want to say hello to a couple of people on the side, and then you two go as you please.
Yeah.
I mean, Russell, how you doing, mate? Good to see you tonight. Hope I'm awake for this show. Should be good. So, well, yeah, that was at 11 o'clock. So if you're awake now, then be awake. Daryl, better players won't change for Frank mentally. They will just bail out. Poor tactics. Also saying crap squad. Start again. Crap squad. Watch Tottenham 92, 2010 if you want to see crap squads. And still created plenty of game after game. Very true. I'll agree with you with that one. And also Darren saying Johnson's gone. And Logan, big up to you, mate. Hope you're good. Good evening and big up everyone. I don't think Frankie's the one, but then who is? Which is a very good question in my opinion there. We are in a bad place. What makes it worse in this football is diabolical. I must admit, it is not looking pretty at this moment in time, is it? And Scott, big up to all the guys. Big up to you too, mate. Hope you're doing well. And Della Spurs, the clip art is insane. Thank you. Hope you're good, mate. Henry also saying first transfer should have been before Sunderland game, but now not very likely. Doesn't look like it, does it? And Mark Swift, good intro. Thanks a lot, mate. Hope you're doing well as well. And Bill, hope you're doing well, fella. Big up and big up to you. Jordan also saying big up Dan, Stel and Benji. Happy New Year, lads. Happy New Year to you, fella. Also, Sam, big up gents and chat. Big up to you too. And Bill also saying, would you take Enzo Maresca? I suppose that's a question we can ask later. I'll clip that on there. I mean, he is out now, isn't he? 5 hours incoming from Mark. And also, Bob saying, good evening, gents. Still is the marquee signing. Well, then we're definitely in trouble. And Beth laughing, as she always does. And Ray also, Happy New Year, boys. Happy New Year to you too, fella. And Billy, does Katatake exist? I think he's gone out on loan as far as I know, if I read correctly. And Boomverse, Happy New Year to you too, mate. Who's also saying Happy New Year, Dan, Benj, and Stel. Jimmy, big up everyone. Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you as well, mate. And Paul also saying, shouldn't Spurs have got someone already? It is only the second day, but I suppose you would think that they would have something on the plan already. And Brian also saying we are lacking a creative midfielder. We're lacking a lot of things there, mate. And Bill, that was Archie Gray. Fair enough. And Mark, the 60-year-old kids. Yeah, I get what you're saying, mate. Brian also saying, does think Johnson would be better as a striker? I don't know. And then people just saying like Walker, that was one that we made money on. Definitely did with him. Destiny, evening to you, mate. Hope you're all good. And Bill also saying we had to pay off Ndombele. The amount of money we lost on that.
200k a week as well.
Last two I'll say hello to, and then leave it on to you. Can take it on from there, Ben. Jordan saying sold Vimmer for 17 million, made money on Ericsson, signed for 15 million, sold for 20. Yep, could have made a lot more on him as well, same as other ones. And Acid Twin, that thumbnail is amazing. Cheers, mate, appreciated. And also saying, can there be a maybe option in the poll? I need to see a few transfer windows. So go for gold, Ben. Down to you.
Lovely. Actually, Dan, first, I did want to say this beforehand. Can you actually set up a poll as to whether or not Frank is the one? Top man, well done. Of course, you
already have done.
Gotcha. Right, okay. So it's no secret. I always tend to agree.
At the moment, Ben, there's been 84 votes, and the percentage is 23% yes, 78% no, 22% yes. So that's a very high no at the moment in time.
Thank you, Dan. Like my job wasn't hard enough tonight. Appreciate that, pal. Jesus. Okay. Right.
You did ask.
I did ask. Right. So as I was saying a minute ago, I make no secret. I usually very much agree with what Stel's got to say. However, I did watch his last show at the Spurs Corner. If you've not checked it out, please go and check it out. It's about 4 hours long. Great energy. It was a great show. However, got you in there, mate. Got you in there, son. However, there were some things that Stel said that I did not agree with. And I asked, I demanded he come on here and answer for his crimes. So what I want to do still, I want to start us off with one big question. I want to go in hard first. Will Spurs win a trophy under Frank, mate?
No.
Okay. Based on what?
Where's the evidence to say he's going to do it?
Okay, fair enough. You're okay. That was fucking short and sweet, wasn't it? You're killing me here, buddy. Right, fair enough. So
Benji. I'll give you a bit more.
Go on then. Thank you, Stel.
I'll give you a bit more. So, never say never, right? Anything's possible. We saw Di Matteo win the Champions League at Chelsea. We saw Martinez win a trophy at Wigan the year they got relegated. Like, never say never. Okay, I can't sit here and say 100% no. But in my opinion, it's a no because, number one, he's never won anything in his entire career. Most managers win something early doors, okay? Some might take a little bit longer, but normally within the first 4 or 5 years, the best managers win something. Some take a little bit longer, 7, 8 years. This guy's been managing for 14 years. He hasn't won a sausage. People will say, oh, but, you know, he's at Brentford. Okay. How did Glasner do it at Crystal Palace? He lost his best player, Elise, and in the following season, he went and won the FA Cup. How did Glasner do it? I'll tell you how, because he was a winner before he went there. He won a European trophy with Frankfurt. How is it that Eddie Howe won the championship at Bournemouth, which is a smaller sized club than Brentford? They've got a smaller stadium. But yet, when Brentford were in the championship, Frank couldn't win that. It's just not in his DNA. It's not in his DNA. If you look at the last, I've said this on many shows. If you look at the last 4 cup winners at Spurs, 91, 99, 2008, 2025, Ange, Juan de Ramos, George Graham, Terry Venables, they all won trophies before they came to Spurs. They came to Spurs as winners. It's no coincidence that they've all won a trophy and they'd all won before they came. There's a pattern. So it's highly unlikely that Frank's going to win anything at Spurs. Does that mean he can't get us top 4? Does that mean he can't get us to a semi-final or a final? Does that mean he can't challenge but come 2nd or 3rd in the league? Of course not. But is he going to get it over the line? I don't think so. And I've seen a number of decisions he's made against Arsenal in the Super Cup final, Nottingham Forest away, against Brentford last night. Decisions he makes where I think you're not that guy. You haven't got a killer instinct. You haven't got the eye of the tiger, man. And for me, that's why I don't think he'll win anything. I think he'll do well at Spurs if we back him, but well as in what? Top 4. Fans got fed up with that when we got top 4, remember? They said we need to win something. We need to go the next step. I don't believe Frank takes his club to that next step. I really don't. Doesn't mean he's shit. Doesn't mean he's shit. Just means if you're happy being top 4 and being at the party and, you know, getting to the odd semi-final, then great. But if you want what you saw last year, which was a trophy and a parade, no. For me, it's not Frank Benji. And I mean that. I sincerely mean that. It's not because I hate him. From what I've seen, he's not that guy.
No, look, to be fair.
I can understand that. 1 second, Ben. Just want to say for Super Chat, much appreciated, 7. Thank you very much. Saying Happy New Year, Dan, Ben, and Stel. Happy New Year to you as well, fella. Thanks a lot for the Super Chat, mate. Much appreciated.
Cheers, pal. No, look, Stel, do you know what? Watching your show the other night, you were quite resolute on the subject. You know, you did say, look, I do not feel Frank can win us a title or a trophy. And you also went as far to call him a loser. So now that's something I can't get on board with. Look,
what's he won?
Well, that's true, but in my eyes, you're not a winner until you're a winner, right? There's been plenty of other managers that
so you're a loser until you're a winner.
Well, so okay, but regardless, there's plenty of other managers that haven't won things till later on in their career. One example would be Jurgen Klopp. I looked at
he's a winner. He's won something.
Yeah, but he didn't win anything for 11 years before he won something.
8 years. 8 years.
Was it 8? I thought it was 11. Okay, fair enough. All right, fine. Regardless, my retort to your previous statement of
no, we're not.
For a fact, he's not won anything would be, but you can't prove to me that he can't win anything. But look, I can't argue with facts. So already you've won that round. But I'd like to offer you an opinion. So for me, with Frank, when people say he can't win us a trophy, and plenty of people are saying it, I look at, and I'm not saying people don't do this, but I look at the bigger picture. I'll look at something like the PSG game, for instance. Now, you've got to be honest with me. Everybody and their nan said we'll be lucky to get out of there 5-0 down. 5-0 down. Now, you, Dan, me, we all turned around and said, we ain't got a chance in hell. It's not going to happen. Lo and behold, 80 minutes in, we are winning the game comfortably. Not scored a couple of goals and are hanging on. We were comfortably winning that game because the way Frank does things is he makes game plans for specific games, which for me is a perfect way to win a trophy because it's unpredictable. And that's what we did against PSG. We nullified what they were good at. And for the most part, it worked. Now, you could say to me, okay, well, Frank still didn't win. Fine. But for me, I think that's a personnel issue. But who did he have to bring on to really shut that game down? Archie Graham fucking Bergville.
He chose not to bring on all the defenders he had on the bench. He chose to bring on an 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid instead of bringing on all the defenders. He didn't have the experience of telling his players, go down, slow this game down, grab your ankle, made out you've been clipped, grab your head, made out you've been elbowed. Push everyone as far back as you can. Mourinho and Conte would have won that game. 2-0 up, they would listen to me. If Ange was 2-0 up, he would have won it. Because they just know how to lock it down. Unfortunately, Frank, he had a brain fart. He didn't even bring on a player so that if we did clear it, we had an out ball so that player could get the ball, take it to the corner flag. He didn't even bring on an outlet player. So I saw that, and I'll never forget it. When he made those subs, I remember at that moment I said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he blew it. That winners don't do that. Wenger, Pep, Klopp, Conte, Ancelotti, all these managers, they would have won 2-0 up with 5 minutes to go. They would have won it. They would have found a way to win it. That's why they're winners. Frank shat the bed.
No, look, again, I understand that. I mean, for me, I suppose it depends how you look at it because, again, we weren't expected to do anything in that game. So at the very least, I think Frank deserves props for what we did do for the 80 minutes of the game. And also people say, oh, but Frank's never won anything. That's fine. But show me a club where he's had the capability to go and do that. So how did
Glasner do it at Crystal Palace last year?
Because Crystal Palace aren't a nothing team, and they've got a decent team. They're not. Crystal Palace have always
Frank
been.
had Wissa, Tony, Damsgaard, and Buemo. These are top attackers.
Yeah, of course. I mean, players that he churned out. By the way, I just want to fucking throw that out there. No,
yeah. And what did he do with them?
Yeah, but to be fair, you say something like that. I mean, that's only say 4 players. I mean, you've got to look. So the way Frank has worked at Brentford is on a shoestring. Their highest transfer of all time under Frank was 33 million, and that was considered huge. So I understand your point, but
why
at the
didn't
same
he
time,
think of Bromby then?
Was it Bromby? It was Bromby, yeah. Well, to be fair, that was his first managerial job. I mean, you got to give a little bit of leeway there. He was sort of spanking in, wasn't he?
Arsenal was Arteta's first managerial job. He won a trophy in 6 months.
Yeah, but did he though? I mean, look at the team he had.
Yeah, he did.
That wasn't even his team.
They sat Tino Emery because the team was losing games. Arteta came in, won in the FA Cup, and if you look at the way Arsenal finished the season, they actually finished strong. So he got something out of them. Went away to Man City, beat Man City at the Etihad, a top Man City team. Then went to a cup final against an informed Chelsea and beat them. He beat two top teams to win that trophy, and he was the manager.
I mean, a lot of people don't credit him for that. And another thing, I'll say this much to you, right?
Why can't Frank do that?
Because Frank didn't learn underneath one of the best managers in our generation. I mean, Arteta was with Pep for quite a few years, and I mean, shit. If you're going to learn how to win, it's just going to be off someone like that.
Benji, let's talk on that then. So if Arteta has trained under an elite winner like Pep, he's learnt that winning formula. Who's Frank taught? Who's taught Frank? Nobody. So who's going to teach him at Spurs to do that then?
I can't. Yeah, but I just think given what he's done in his career already, and it's fairly impressive. You know, people can blow it off.
We're talking about winning a trophy, right? Not what well done. You got Brentford promoted. Well done. You kept Brentford in the Premier League. These are good things, right? We've seen many managers do this kind of thing before. We're talking about winning a trophy, right? Specific. I've said if you back Frank, he will get us back into the top 4, and he'll get us kind of what Harry Redknapp was kind of doing. Not that football, but getting to a semi-final, a quarter-final, you know, top 4. Maybe we're second at Christmas, and then we finish off third, whatever. He'll do all that. Just winning a trophy, he's not that guy. Because there's nothing to show me that he is. Nothing.
There's nothing to show you that there isn't, though. At the same time,
there's 14 years. There's 14 years of his career that shows me he isn't. 14 years.
But again, he's not really. You know, he spent most of his career at Brentford. Yeah, I don't see how that's a fair analysis, given everything in between. Look again. I understand.
How did Martinez win the FA Cup with Wigan then? How did he do that?
That's a good point. It's a very good point. I mean, listen, this is always going to be difficult for me, wasn't it?
This is what I'm saying to you. You know, let me check this out. Right, Bromby won the league in 1998, 2002, 2021. They won the Danish Cup in 2005 and 2018. So, in the last 20 years, they've won 1, 2, 3, 4 trophies, okay? When Frank was there, they won nothing. So it's not a club that can't win trophies. They've won 4 in 20 years. When he was there, they won nothing. So at Bromby, they weren't successful when Frank was there. He didn't even win the championship with Brentford. They went through the playoffs. He couldn't even win the championship. Yet Bournemouth have done it. We saw wasn't it Frank Lampard won a championship? I'm sure he did. We've seen other managers at least. How can you not even win the championship? Like if he won that, I'd say, do you know what? Maybe he could, because he's, you know, Eddie Howe, before he won the Carabao Cup with Newcastle, he won the championship with Bournemouth. He had a bit of winning DNA. There's nothing in Frank's DNA locker that is trophy winning. Nothing.
Do you know what? To be fair to Frank, that specific season you're speaking about, when they did come up, nobody penned them for getting promoted. That was all Frank. And again, like I said, they operate that. Fuck me, Spurs fans. You think we've got it tough with Spurs the way we spend money? Frank was operating on quite literally a stick of gum and a shoestring. It's shocking. So I hear what you're saying, but at the very same time,
go look at what Eddie Howe had to spend at Bournemouth. Bournemouth were about to be bankrupt, like extinct. He's gone in there and he's got them promoted from Division 4 to Division 3 to Division 2. And in the Championship, he won it. Go look at what Eddie Howe did and then talk to me about, you know, shoestring budgets. He managed a practically bankrupt club. They had nothing. They didn't have a pot to piss in. And that guy took Bournemouth to the Premier League and won a trophy on the way. That's a winner. There's a winner in there. That's what I'm talking about. And with Frank, there's always, but this, but that. He nearly, that's kind of what Poch was. Nearly, almost, not quite, you know. And
do you know? It's funny. It's funny you say that, actually. On the subject of Pochettino, and I will launch it all into the same thing. I do think there are actually a lot of similarities between Poch and Frank. I mean, look, both of them managed a smaller team previously and did quite well. Neither of them have won anything. I know Poch has done now at PSG, but hey, surprise, surprise, send someone to a better club with better players and they win something. Shock horror. You know, I think the only difference between Frank and Pochettino, aside from style of play, which again at the start of Pochettino's reign wasn't fantastic, And the difference between Frank and Poch is Poch had a Harry Kane that scored 31 goals in that first season, which is something Frank just doesn't have. But I think my point to that is I don't remember hearing anyone.
I could counter that.
No, hold on. Let me just finish this point. I don't remember hearing anybody after 4 months of Poch being in charge counting him out so badly. And for me, that's why we're having this debate, because I feel like people have just given up on Frank in the space of 4 months. I think it's fucking ridiculous. But yeah, go on. What were you going to say?
Yeah, hold on 1 minute. There's two conversations here. One is giving up on Frank. The other one is saying he's not going to win trophies. Frank can get us back to being a top 4 club. Right? I saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer given £400 million and he got Man United second in the league. Am I going to start saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the shit? Am I going to start saying Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is really, really good? No, I'm not. They just spent enough money on good players. You're naturally going to be better. So if you go and spend £400 million and buy some really good players for Frank, 100% will be better. Most clubs will be better. 99% of clubs would be naturally better. Go and give David Moyes at Everton £400 million and 8 top players. Go and see what Everton will do. Go and give Unai Emery £400 million, give him 4 elite players right now. He's going to win the league. You know, any capable manager that is given good players will take the club higher up the league. I don't doubt Frank can do that. I have no doubt in that. I saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer do it. I saw Ole Gunnar Solskjaer shit the bed in the league, shit the bed in the cup final against Villarreal when they were full of Arsenal and Tottenham rejects, shit the bed in the semi-final. That's what Frank is to me. He's going to get you there, and then we're going to be back to where we were 6-7 years ago, where we can't get that last bit now. If fans want that, then stick with Frank. Because there's a lot of fans that want that, you know. A lot of fans will take that. They'll be like, yeah, we'll have that.
I still don't think you can say that. I still don't think you can say that categorically. I mean, and it's not just you. I'm seeing it left, right, and centre that Frank won't bring us any trophies. But again, I think his style of play and what he brings to the club, I genuinely think if we are to get into a final, the way he does things, I can genuinely see us getting over the line, because he's such an adaptable manager. And again, I will take it back to PSG.
Why isn't he adapting now then?
See, that's a whole other conversation. Why is he not adapting now? No.
He's 4-3-3, 4-3-3, 4-3-3.
No, that's
We're
fine.
saying, can you please go to a back three, push the fullbacks high up? Oh, but you know, Frank can't do that, because if one of the defenders get injured, he's got no cover and it's going to mess things. You've got that Katai, that Asian defender. He's now fit. Draguzin's fit. Danzo's fit. Van der Ven's fit. Ben Davies is back. Romero's fit. He's got 6 or 7 centre-backs. What's the excuse now? You know, he's so adaptable. He's not adapting.
Look, listen, hold on. He's changed it up in a few games. And to be fair, for the most part, it's worked. It didn't work against Arsenal, admittedly. But for me, I'm going to put that game down to the players more than him, because I'm telling you now, how we played that day was not how he wanted to play.
So when we lose, blame the players. When we win, Frank.
No, not at all. I blame the players more often than not. Don't get me wrong. Last night, I'll give you an example. Last night, wasn't it, the game? Absolute dog shit. And I will thoroughly put that on Frank. I am not one of these fans that'll be like, oh, Frank can't do anything wrong. He absolutely fucking can. And I've seen him do it. The same way I've seen Pochettino make mistakes with substitutes as well.
You think the players were to blame when we went to the Emirates? It's the players that said we're going to go to a back five with four in the middle and just sit deep. You think the players?
I'm wholeheartedly convinced. I think it was a confidence and a fear issue from the players. That's what I think.
Before the game, the manager talked down the club, talking about 10 good games, 30 average games, 12 bad games. Don't forget, you lot finished 17th. That's not fighting talk before North London derby. He set us up to just do whatever we could to not concede a goal in that game. He had zero intention of going at Arsenal and giving it a go. At any point did we look like we were going to do it, except once we were 3-0 down, it's like, right, we've got nothing to lose now. Pressure's off. And we scored a goal. We were pressing a bit more in midfield. That Arsenal and Chelsea game was the worst 2 London derbies I've ever seen in my life. And just so to put a bit of context on this, Benji. Christian Gross. Please, everyone go and look at the team Christian Gross had. It was the most horrendous Spurs team, right? We're talking about vintage bullshit Tottenham.
It was a bad team.
Right? He didn't lose to Arsenal. Christian Gross's mighty Tottenham, he never lost to Arsenal. We drew both games. So how is it he can get something out of the team to get a
So
draw?
what are you trying to tell me, Stel? Are you trying to tell me that was on the manager, that Arsenal game?
100%.
Because the thing is, you say that he was being negative before the
100%.
game. But you said he was being negative before the game. After the game, he was bemused. He was like, I was very confident going into this game. I thought we were going to get something out of it. You know, you can't tell me.
Benji, I had a full-blown argument with one of the guys in the Spurs Corner WhatsApp group called Ellington. Top guy, really nice guy. I had a massive argument with him in the chat because he said we're going to beat Arsenal 2-1. And I said, you are deluded beyond belief. You've lost the plot. And he got really upset at me because I called him deluded. I said, no, this is delusional, mate. At 4-1, right, I said, can you talk to me about this 2-1 prediction of yours? And his response was, I was just trying to be positive. I said, okay, fair enough. I'm being realistic. Right? So this thought that we were going to go to the Emirates and win, it was mental. Like the fans that predicted that, they have not been watching Tottenham this season and they have not been watching Arsenal this season. It was nuts to predict that. I couldn't believe we actually had fans that thought, yeah, we can beat Arsenal.
No, 100%. I feel like you've got to be nuts to think that we had no right beating Arsenal, but I think it's fair to say it would have been nice to see us put up more of a fight.
But like you said, never say never, basically, still, you did say. But the chances were not there in our favour, were they? And 7 gifted 5 memberships. Thanks a lot, mate. Anyone who got one, please do say thank you. It's generous, mate. Thank you very much.
See, like Benji, right? When we played Chelsea, we had a run of games. It was Newcastle midweek Carabao Cup, Chelsea in the league, and then it was Copenhagen. And I was chatting with I don't know what YouTube show I was on, and they were all predicting lineups. I said, do you know, for me, I will go strong against Newcastle, put your strongest team out because it's a cup game, and we've got to take cups seriously because we're not going to fucking win the league. And we're not winning the Champions League, just go for the cups. And then go all out, everything you've got against Chelsea as well. And like, no, you've got to rest players because we've got Copenhagen. I said, guys, Copenhagen will be the easiest game of the lot. We're going to beat Copenhagen. They're right down low in the Champions League table. They're 4th in their league, right? They're not even in the top 2 of their league. And their league's a Farmers League. Rest players against Copenhagen because we will win that. Our B team will beat Copenhagen. Go all out against Newcastle, all out against Chelsea. And they're like, no, because if we don't beat Copenhagen, then we might not get automatic quality. I said, guys,
yeah.
Newcastle away and Chelsea are much harder games.
100%. You've got to prioritise the league.
What did we do? We rested a few players against Newcastle and we narrowly lost it. And we did that so that we can play those players against Chelsea, and then we put in the worst performance of the entire fucking season at home. And then we beat Copenhagen. What a surprise. Mate, the way we approached that week was all wrong. And how it played out was pretty much what I was saying, what my fears were. How is it I can see that? And the manager's like, no, we'll rest against Newcastle because we really got to take Chelsea seriously. And then you put in the worst performance you've ever seen against Chelsea. The lowest XG in Premier League history, right? The lowest ever. And then, of course, you beat Copenhagen because they're crap. Like, these Doncasters and Copenhagens and these types of teams, mate, we'll always beat them. But these other teams, you've got to give it everything you've got. And he didn't. He simply didn't. And that's why it all unravelled.
No, fair enough. Look, I'll tell you what. So, look,
that's
the first question.
Benji. That's why I blame Frank.
It's hard to argue with at times, but I look at the bigger question with it all, the bigger picture of it all, and I feel like people are really quickly dismissing him and writing him off. And I just think after 4 months, that's not fair. But look, listen, the first question was, will Spurs win a trophy under Frank? Stel says no. I say, why not? Unfortunately, Stel's arguing with a fact. I can't prove that Sorry, Frank hasn't won anything. That's just a fact. However, my opinion is I don't see why not. He's an adaptable manager. I feel like he can. But like I said, I can't argue with a fact. So that one's going to go to Stel all day long. I will move on to another question, and I'm interested to hear your opinion here. Does Frank deserve to be at Tottenham Hotspurs?
Depends what you want as a fan. This question all comes down to what you want, because you've got some fans.
Your opinion. Does he deserve to be here?
For what I want, no, not at all. Not a chance. No.
And I assume you're basing that
I'm in the minority, Benji. Benji, I've been in the minority for years, mate. I've been in the minority for years about trophies. The amount of arguments I've had with people where I've said, I am one of those fans that said, I will take 17th if we win a trophy. I'm one of those fans that says, if we finish 17th every year, as long as we don't get relegated, but we win the FA Cup for the next 10 years, I will take that. I am in the minority of fans, though. Most fans will not accept that. I will. I'd love that. A trophy every year for 10 years. Bring it on. But most fans don't want that. They're like, no. We also need to be higher up the table, and the football's got to be good, and we've got to dominate games, and the ownership's got to be ethical, and the grass has got to be cut every 2 weeks, and the price of beer has to go down a little bit, and this, and that, and we need a statue of Bill Nick, and... Mate, I don't do all these ands.
Okay, fine. But before he came along, did you want Frank? Like, how did you feel when his name was mentioned? Because here's the thing, for me, this is something that really fucking bugs me, right? Under Ange, and again, I'll make no secret of it, I liked Ange. I thought he was all right. I liked the way he did things. Did I agree with his football all the time? Not really. I very much thought it was unsustainable after the first 8 to 10 games we watched when he first came. But regardless, it's neither here nor there. Look, under Ange, I'm hearing from a lot of fans, we need a tactical manager. We need someone that is adaptable. Someone's not going to play the same way week in, week out. And admittedly, I won't lie, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Frank. I've always felt he is a good, solid, dependable manager. And given the chance of a bigger team, he could maybe ascend to bigger heights. So for me, when I heard that Frank was coming, I was genuinely happy. Where were you at that time?
I wasn't excited, but I wasn't depressed. Okay. I wanted Ange to be given a chance, because for the first time in 17 years, a manager's come here and said, I'm going to get you a trophy, and he did it. And also, for the first time ever, under Enoch and Levy, they didn't sack a manager on the basis that they believed he was going to win the Europa Cup. We've seen Mourinho get sacked before a cup final. We've seen Conte sacked when we were fourth, and then we fell off a fourth. We've seen so many managers sacked. You think, really? What are we doing here? Whereas probably Ange should have been sacked in January because the league position was woeful. But he's clearly turned around to the board and said, look, the league's fucked. I'm going to bin it. I'm just going to go for that Europa, because if I win it, you get a trophy, the fans get a parade, and we're in the Champions League, which we're not going to do for the league table. And the board sat there and said, you know what? Do it. I've never seen the board do that. I've never, ever seen Enoch and Levy sign off on something like that. That was one hell of a risk. So for me, at the end of the season, I thought, fucking hell, the board actually did the right thing in the end, because that was the right move. Yeah. And the manager pulled it off. Do you know what? Maybe it's worth giving this a crack for the first 10 games, because the fans seem to be on board. The players seem to be all together with the manager. The board seem that they're going to actually stick with the guys.
There was a togetherness, yeah, 100%. 100%.
So I thought maybe just keep this momentum and just see where it goes for 10 games.
Yeah, so stay on that train and see where it leads us.
And see if Ange can find that balance of on the front foot, but then that defensive display that the players told him to do, that he listened to, that he did in the Europa. Can you do the two? Let's see if he can. But it doesn't matter, because he got sacked. So if you're going to sack him, right, which we did, then we're in Europe, we've just won a trophy, and we're going to play 2-3 games a week. Bring in a manager that knows how to do that. What's Frank won? Nothing. What does Frank know about Europe? Nothing. How often has Frank had to play twice a week? Rarely. So we brought in the most inexperienced manager for the position that we were in as a club. I would have liked to have seen Glasner. I really would have liked to have seen Glasner. I would have liked to have seen a complete reset, Benji. Bring in a proper football director of elite level. Bring in Jurgen Klopp. Break the bank. Give him 15, 20 million a year. Say, Jurgen, come here. What kind of recruitment team do you need? What kind of players do we need? What style of football are you going to play in terms of so we can nurture the academy to evolve into your kind of football and have a complete reset? We brought in Frank and he's basically neither. He's what everyone said is we just need a coach. We just need a coach. Right, we've got the coach and everyone's saying, oh, no, but Enoch are the problem. Oh, the players are shit. But you all said we just need a coach. Like, I don't get it.
Do you know what? I'll tell you where I am with this. Under Postecoglou, I'm going to be honest. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I feel like the guy was a little bit mistreated towards the end, but I'll say this much, and this is why I think Frank was the right man to bring in. We are more, as a club, than a Europa League Cup, okay? And what I mean by that is, listen, we're a club in serious turmoil. We've been declining for fucking, and I don't like to admit this, we've been declining for years and years and years. And I think what the club saw in Frank is, okay, here is a guy that has had relative success with a small club like Brentford on a shoestring budget. He's taken players, and this is something we needed, by the way. He's taken players and improved them. So I can think of Damsgaard, I can think of Mbuemo, I can think of Tony, I can think of Wissa. You know, this is something, again, that the club and many fans are screaming out for. This is the sort of guy that we need. Admittedly, he's not an elite level manager. I think I'd be silly to go ahead and say that. But I think if you look at the club as a whole and at the bigger picture, I can't help but feel like Frank was a very, very wise choice. What you're saying isn't wrong. I'm not necessarily disagreeing. But what I am saying is, I think if you look at it as a whole, I feel like he was the manager that we needed for the time that we brought him in. Because, again, he is a project manager. So I'd like that. This is why I want to see him get more time. Because
Benji, project for what?
Okay, so for me, at the moment, the priority is to get us competitive again. Like, because as far as I'm concerned, I don't know if people agree with this or not, but as long as you are there or thereabouts, you're always in the hunt for a trophy. If you are there and thereabouts, or if you're knocking around the top four, you know, you're putting in consistency season in, season out, like Arsenal are doing and have done, failed admittedly.
So why did Redknapp and Poch win nothing in 9 years between them?
Because they weren't fucking backed properly. And from the way Enoch is speaking, Frank is going to get backed.
So we didn't want to back winners. Poch wasn't a winner, though. We didn't want to back Redknapp, who was a winner before he came to us. We didn't want to back Conte, who got us top four, wasn't a winner. Now we want to bring in a manager that isn't a winner, and we're going to say, back this guy to win a trophy. Where's the logic in that?
There is absolutely fucking no logic in it whatsoever. But here's the thing.
Let me put a question down for both of you.
Yeah,
I need to reply to Alex's comment, by the way, because he's misleading the audience in the chat.
A question is, like, we didn't back a winner, whatever else. But should Poch have won that Champions League final with what he had? Because he had a team that already got into the Champions League final. Was it because he wasn't backed, or was it because Poch fucked it?
He started that final with fucking Harry Winks and Sissoko. What do you think? He's recognised backup striker to Harry Kane was fucking 36-year-old Llorente. Fucking backed. Give me a joke. Do you know the problem with Pochettino's team? He had a good fucking starting 11, but fuck all else. He wasn't backed.
Poch fucked it. Liverpool weren't good in that final. He went into that final, and the star of the show, the talk of world football, was Lucas Moura. Lucas Moura would have been so fired up, so full of confidence, so full of hunger to win us that trophy. To bench him the way we did after what he did, mate, shit like that is what makes you a loser.
Can I just say something?
That's why Poch was a loser at Spurs, because you get these once in the moment opportunities in football. You got to get it right. And if you don't, we don't know if we would have won it with Mora. We don't know. What we do know is we didn't win it with him not there.
And Harry Kane was injured.
Right?
When we started it.
The facts are
he wasn't
we didn't
injured.
win it with Kane. We didn't win it with Kane starting. Right? We don't know if Kane was benched if we would have won it, because that's not what happened. So we've got no evidence. The only evidence we know is by not doing it, we did lose. This is what I mean, you know.
So that point,
I love Poch. Poch's my favourite ever manager at Spurs.
Me too.
I love Poch.
Me too.
He's a loser.
I hear a lot of people. Fine. Okay, fine. I get that. Again,
he lost to a bunch of kids from Liverpool in a cup final. I don't
think he was backed. I don't think. How can you be a winner if you've not got the? I don't think he was backed.
Benji. Poch versus Klopp, cup final. Poch has got his players. Klopp's got injuries galore. In extra time, he's just brought on a bunch of kids that have never even kicked the ball for the club before. Straight at the academy, they're playing. Klopp wins that game. How does he win it? Because he's a winner. He's a winner. He found a way. That's why they're winners. They know how to do it. It's DNA. It's knowing how to get into your player's psychology. It's knowing what move to make at what moment. And you know what? And that manifests good fortune as well. That also manifests good fortune.
I mean, do you know what? Hold on.
I can't believe Poch lost that cup final but Gary Neville famously said £1 billion blue bottle jobs. That was his commentary. Who was the manager? Poch. I love Poch, but he's a loser.
Yeah, but do you not find that situational because the amount of players they brought in that season? Look, do you know what? If I'm honest,
Benji, they lost to kids.
No, but I don't give a shit. That was right at the end of the game. At the end of the day,
what do you think would happen
Liverpool.
if Spurs brought on all the kids in a cup final? What do you think would happen to us?
Fucking meltdown and we get slaughtered. But we are Tottenham, not fucking Liverpool.
Right, exactly. He brought on kids against Chelsea and he beat them. It was unbelievable. That's why Gary Neville called them bottle jobs. I'll
argue this till I'm fucking blue in the face. I don't think Poch was backed. We started that fucking game with Sissoko and Winks. For me, that's all you need to know. As far as the Harry Kane thing goes,
started Heung-Min's son at left back, and it cost us a goal in the semi-final against Chelsea. Whose decision was that? Out of nowhere, one of our top attackers. Right, you're going left back. Tell me, what kind of winner does that? What winner?
Stop changing the fucking game here, okay? I can only do one thing at a time. Good, God damn you people!
I'm giving you examples.
No, I hear. I'm listening to you. But again, going back to Poch in that Champions League final, the excuse I hear all the time is you played Harry Kane instead of Lucas. Fine, but I just want to throw this out there. Regardless, look, he was coming back from injury. As far as the medical team said, he was ready to play. He just wasn't sharp.
He wasn't meant fit.
No, fine, but in that situation, if we'd played Mora and still lost, you motherfuckers would be saying the same thing. Oh, he didn't start Kane. Fucking That's the issue I've got with Benji, that subject.
No, that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point that Ben said there. I do think that is a fair point.
Because that never happened. No, because
I know,
that never
but it's a fair point he's making. People would have diverted it, but personally, I think a lot more would have given him leeway if he'd have started Mora, because it was obvious what Mora had done and Kane was still injured.
Benji, we don't know what would have happened. We have no idea. We can only go by what did happen. And most Spurs fans were shocked that Mora got dropped. Most Spurs fans could not believe that we did that. Why? Why was so many Spurs fans shocked by it? Because they knew. You've got to start him, man. You've got to start the man. The talk of world football was Lucas Moura leading up to that final because of what he did in that semi-final.
Just side note. That was the best game of football I ever watched, Ajax. I'm not an emotional man, but when I saw that final whistle go, I was this fucking close. Best game of football I've watched in my life, that game.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, my God.
Can I just quickly address Alex box office, because he wants a bit of attention as always, so I'm going to give him a little bit, because it is the new year. He says, Stelios, stop lying, not everyone wanted Ange to say. When did I say everyone wanted Ange to say? Did Benji or Dan, did I say that?
No, if I'm honest, sorry. No, he didn't.
Yeah, Alex, you're hearing things too much. Drink New Year's. I don't know. Something's clearly not right. I never said that. So, but hey, what can I do? People make stuff up. Anyway, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to Alex. He's a top boy. I do. Like
mate, love Alex, top guy. Yeah. All right, okay. So fair enough. So in your opinion, Frank didn't really deserve to be here.
Well, that's what you're stopping at. But Benji, it comes down to what you want. If you want us to be back in that top 4, then keep him. 100% keep him, because he will do that. He will get you there. I've always maintained that. I've always said, if you give him 400 million, buy quite a few good players, he will make us a top 4 side again. I've never once said that's not going to happen.
In your defence, Frank, Stel has never said Frank out to date as well, so I'm just going to throw that out there too. But yeah, no, that's fair.
I would not sack Frank now either, because we're not going to bring in a replacement that's going to be the right person for the rebuild. We're not going to get that guy now. In the summer we can get him, but not now. So for now, you've just got to spend as much as you can on good players now and hope to God Frank gets us back into Europe, so we've got a good starting point for next season, because to not be in Europe is not good. We will lose our best players if we're not in Europe. Van der Ven will walk. We won't attract better players unless we're in Europe. And European football brings more money into the club. So for me, you've always got to be in Europe if you're a serious club. Just give Frank what we can and hope he finishes us off in Europe for next season, and then decide whether you want to stick with him or bring in a manager that's going to be the right guy for the rebuild.
Okay, I'll tell you what we do.
But again, it depends what you want. If you want top 4, then keep him for 4 years.
Listen,
if you want trophies, he's not the guy.
It's all about opinion, and that's your opinion. I respect it, whether I agree or not. It's a different matter. That's fine. But before we go on to the next question, right?
Sorry, Benji.
Can
I, Dan? There's another one. People are just lying. I just want to address it. There's a guy called Drew Scott. He's obsessed with me. Wherever I go, he's got a. If I say blue, he'll say red. If I say smelly, it smells nice, he'll say smells bad. 756. Let's give him a bit of a New Year's love as well. He's another one desperate for some attention from me, so I'm happy to give it. I am generous like that. I do give you the attention you crave.
He's a giving guy. It's Christmas just gone. So before we move on to our next question, Stel,
what one is that?
756. Yeah. Stelios, you're inventing stuff. The board never said he could throw the league. What I said was,
I disagree.
There's no way.
So do I, actually.
There's no way they would not have sacked Ange unless there was an agreement that he had to win that Europa, knowing that the league performance was bad. Right? Levy always sacks managers when we go down the league because it's about money and it's the fear of not getting into Europe. The fact they kept Ange would have been, you've got to win the Europa. Fair enough, the league's fucked. So to say that the board didn't realise the league was done and that Ange was going to throw it to win the Europa, mate, why do you think they kept him then? Just like logically, why did they keep him then?
I agree. I said it in January, and a lot of people didn't dig it in January.
It's not something.
If he keeps him in January, then they've kept him purely for that Europa, because the league was done and dusted. We weren't going to get in the top 4, 5, 6, 7, or even 8. And the only chance of getting in that Champions League, also getting a trophy at the end of it, was focusing on the easiest cup in the world to win. And I say that because that cup was easier to win than the bloody League Cup that season. And the whole thing just made sense. It got them the money. It got them in the Champions League. It got them a cup. Everyone was a winner, basically, in that aspect when it comes to the ball.
I reckon if the Europa Cup, winning it, didn't give you access to Champions League, if that wasn't part of winning the Europa, they would have sacked him in January.
It's the only reason anyone cares about the Europa anyway.
Yeah.
You can't tell me there wasn't a conversation there between Ange and the board. There's no fucking way.
100%. Because they went and spent money in January. They signed Kinski, Danzo, and Tell. Why would you go and spend money in January on a manager that you know you're going to get rid of?
I mean, proof is in the pudding, really. In that Van der Ven interview, Van der Ven interview, he did say we knew we were mathematically safe, and we did concentrate on the Europa League. So if he knew that, you can't tell me the fucking board didn't. End of, as far as I'm concerned. But look, before we move on to the next question, there is one thing I wanted to ask you, given your previous statement. Who is the man for you right now? If you could pick, listen, no restrictions. Who is the guy you would go and get to replace Frank? Just out of curiosity, still.
I would love us to get Jurgen Klopp at Spurs. I would absolutely love us to get Jurgen Klopp at Spurs. His football's brilliant. The players he signs are just a joy. And you know what? It's rock and roll football. It's what Spurs fans love, man. We love that football. And he's a winner. And if this board is seriously going to back a manager, go back a fucking top manager, man. Go back someone that deserves to be backed. Because he wasn't fully backed at Liverpool. You know, they spent roughly the same as we did. He got Van Dijk and Alisson, but it was a bit shabby after that.
I mean, it's a £75 million fucking defender, and that's something that
but they sold Coutinho, right? They sold an elite attacker to raise the money. So imagine they kept Coutinho as well. Fucking me, they would definitely have beaten City a few more times.
I never rated Coutinho, by the way. I think he was the most inconsistent fucking attacker I've ever seen. And the fact that Liverpool sold him to Barca for 120 million blew my fucking mind. But,
would you have him at Spurs?
Right now? Probably wouldn't. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. Right. Anyway, so what we do is we'll move on to the next one. Okay, so this one is going to be really tough for me to argue. Has Frank got the best out of our players, and has he improved anyone?
I love the way that I don't know what conversations happen in the boardroom, but other people in the chat, they do know what happened in the boardroom.
Of course.
I mean, it's incredible how people get to sit in the board meetings and they know everything, but I know nothing because I don't sit next to them in the board meetings. But here you go. Has Frank improved anyone?
Has he got the best out of the players so far, and has he improved anyone?
I think Vicario's got worse. I think all our wing backs have gone to shit.
Yep.
Except for Spence, who once in a while has a half decent game. I think Romero is having a season where he's inconsistent. Van de Ven looks a lot better, but I think that's because we've actually just dropped the defence deeper, which means he hasn't got to make these stupid 40-yard recovery runs. But nonetheless, it's worked better for Van de Ven. Also, he scored more goals this year. So, yeah, Van de Ven's one. In midfield, Bentancur, not really. Basuma, finished. Archie Gray, no. Bergvall, when he's fit, does look a bit better. But, again, he keeps playing in too many different positions in the midfield, so he's never settled. 1 minute he's a 10, then he's an 8, then he's out on the left. So, I'm going to say no to Bergvall. Richarlison, yeah, because he scored 7 goals, which is better than last year. Just on goals scored. Odegaard, I think, has slightly improved, but again, there's not enough output.
I'm not gonna bite your head off on that one because I fucking agree. I do think he's also improved. So by all means, spill away.
Yeah, Tell, no. Johnson clearly not because he's been sold. Danzo, same. Who else we got? Kinski's gone backwards because he doesn't play at all now. He played 1 game against Newcastle, had a stinker, and never gets to play again, even though Vicario has a stink on a regular basis. Who else we got? Ben Davies. The fact he made him our corner kick taker, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm trying to think who else we got. Maddison's been injured. Slanky's injured. Kulu's injured. I think Kudus has got worse as the season's gone on. The more he's coached, the worse he's getting under Frank, if I'm honest. He came here, looked great. Now he's been coached a bit. He's got worse. So I think he's actually gone backwards. The other one is Paulinho. I think Paulinho's been solid throughout the season.
What, is that not a player right there? Paulinho just alone. Is that not a player that will win you titles? You could put Paulinho into, I think, just again, my opinion, you could put Paulinho into any team in the world quite comfortably without going, oh, I don't know if he'd get it. I think he's brilliant.
The problem is to win titles, you need more than just a destroyer. You need someone that can play.
Oh, of course. But what I'm trying to say is,
then why isn't Frank playing him? Then why isn't Frank playing him?
Again, it's
I like it.
5 games on the trot, he didn't play him. Start him.
The other player that's that I'm not sure of is Xavi Simons, because I like him as a footballer. I think he's a good football player, but I don't think we play to his strengths. And what I mean by that is you get some players that are just brilliant, no matter where you play them, what system, what manager. Harry Kane can play for England, Tottenham, Germany, under Southgate, under Vincent Kompany, under Poch, under Conte, under whoever he plays under, he performs. So that's a very versatile football player. Very few players are like that. So for me, Xavi Simons isn't a versatile player. He needs to play a particular way. It's the best out of Xavi Simons. So I can't say that he's improved, but I'm not going to say he's regressed, because I don't think we're playing. But I feel the same way about the wing backs. I don't feel we play a type of football that's best for Porro and Spence. I don't at all. I think we actually play against what's good for them.
We did that with Ange as well.
Ange inverted them, and that killed them. Same thing. But
although under Ange, Porro was the second most productive player in our team. Am I right in saying that?
Right. So with Porro, he was much better under Ange, even though he was inverted, because we were an attacking team. Porro's an attacking player. He plays in a defensive position, but he's an attack-minded player. So if you're an if you're Mohamed Kudus, Odegaard, Xavi Simons, probably Bergvall, Brennan Johnson, Mohamed Kudus, if you're these players, you're much more going to prefer Ange ball all day long, because you get to attack. Yeah. Whereas if you're Van de Ven, Romero, Paulinho, you're probably going to respect this more, because you're not constantly having to do emergency defending, putting out fires everywhere. So it depends on the player for me, what type of player you are. If you're Bentancur, he hasn't been the same since he got that injury. He was brilliant when he first come, absolutely fantastic under Conte, but since he's got that injury, he's been so inconsistent, you know?
Do you know what? I'll go off the back of what you just said. There's a couple of players there that I very, very, very much disagreed with you on, but I'll run through it. Look, in terms of has he got the best out of the players to date? Probably not, in all fairness. But again, with the improving player situation, I feel like you've got, he's 4 months into the job, so I'm not expecting too much. For me, Vicario. Look, Vicario's had some stinkers this season. There's no way getting around it. Okay, it's just a fact. However, I do think Vicario has improved in other areas. Like, for instance, he comes for crosses a lot better than what he did. I'm not saying he's great at them, but it's something that clearly has been worked on because he's got better at it. Porro, again, same as Stel, I feel like he's regressed. But I will say something about the two centre-backs. With Van de Ven, last season, everyone was questioning, what is he going to be like deeper? Because the thing is, there were times when he did play deep under Ange. I think it was like 1 or 2 games, and he got twisted up quite badly. So questions were absolutely asked. How good is Van de Ven at being just a defender rather than a fucking 100-meter sprinter? So for me, I think Van de Ven's been absolutely fantastic. And I do think he's improved because of the questions that were asked previously. Romero,
he's let him show what he can do, hasn't he? Basically,
bingo, right? Which is fine. Romero, do I necessarily think he's improved? Romero, no. However, I feel like Romero, and this is not a lot, by the way, but I feel like Romero has become a bit more consistent. Again, not a lot, but he's been more consistent this season than he had last season. That's for fucking sure. He was very, very. It was real bad. Whereas this season, I feel like it's a bit more balanced. If you look at the stats, it will back it up. As for Spence, look, at the end of the day, Thomas Frank plays a certain style, and unfortunately, Porro and Spence don't really suit that style. However, I feel like Spence has got the physicality to deal with Frank's demands a bit better. It's a shame we don't get to see him maraud like he used to. He has done the last few games. He's looked pretty decent. As for the midfield, again, Kudus, jury's out on that one. If I'm brutally honest with you lot, I never really rated him that highly in the first place. That's why you never hear me speak about him. His first season at West Ham, fantastic. Then he had a terrible season. For me, he's a troublemaker, which is great, but he hasn't blown my mind this season at any point. I'm just going to say that. He's done some cool stuff, but he's not blown my mind.
Been a bit up and down, hasn't he?
Yeah,
basically.
Like I say, he's just
One
he's
thing
blown me
quick.
away. Yeah.
One thing quick. Just thanks for the super chat, mate. Much appreciated. Sorry, Dan Frank has consumed both red and blue pills. Where he's definitely popped a couple of fucking pills the way he plays the fucking football, isn't he? Because he seems a bit deluded when he does it. But that's just my opinion. Go on, Ben, with what you were saying, mate.
Yeah. Bergvall, for me, Bergvall has absolutely stood still. And I really, really like Bergvall. For me, this season, I look at him play and I think, do you know what sort of player you are? And for me, it's neither here nor there. I feel like he stood still. Up front. I mean, I would go to the left. We don't really fucking use anyone. Yeah, again, Bentancur, steady. I wouldn't say he's got any better or any worse. Up front, again, I've got to agree with Stel. As much as I fucking hate the guy and you should never see him in a Spurs shirt ever again, Richarlison has improved, I guess. Oh, I don't know. It makes me feel sick saying that. Odebear and Tell. So I know we've not seen a lot of Tell this season. And I know what I'm about to say might sound a little strange because I'm basing it off of the dog shit we saw last season. Last season, Tell was... I don't know why we brought him. Yeah, it made me feel fucking physically sick. But this season, when I've seen his small caveats, he's looked lively. So I would say that is a very slight improvement. Bergvall, for the last month, albeit he's better in small sections, like he doesn't seem to be great when he plays full games. I've noticed Bergvall, Odebear, sorry. But I have seen improvements in him. So overall, when I ask, has Frank got the best out of the team and has he made improvements to certain players? I would say to a degree improvements, yes. But again, we're 4 months in, so what are you supposed to fucking see? Romero being Maldini? I think not. These things take time. So it's. I would say at the moment it might be a little bit difficult to judge, but I'd say overall he's made a couple of players improve. But anyway, I digress. I'll go on to the next question. Now, Stel, this one is a very interesting one. I'm not sure how you'll respond to this, but it's something I'm seeing everywhere in the Spurs community. Do you have any issue with the way Frank communicates with the media and the squad? And what I mean by that is how he carries himself. Now, I know you might not think that's a big question, but I'm seeing this sort of shit everywhere, left, right, and centre. Frank doesn't speak well in the media. He's very negative. I've read and heard people say he doesn't even look like a manager. Like a manager has a certain style of look. I don't know. Is he supposed to look like a fucking doorman? But yeah, do you think there's any issues with the way he carries himself at all?
Well, he's a liar.
Okay, go on.
He lies, like every manager at Spurs has done. Not just him, but he's the same shit. Within his first month, he said, Matthias Tell is a very good player. He can play anywhere across the front three. So he takes him out of the Champions League squad. He's forced to put him back in because of Slanky's injury. Never starts him. He's on the bench every single game. This is the player that is very good and can play anywhere across the front three. And we've currently got an attack that can't score goals. So he's that good that in a team that can't score goals, he sits on the bench. He's a liar.
It sounded like a bit of a corporate answer, if you ask me.
Just a big thing. Just want to say thanks to catch up for the raid, mate. Much appreciated. Hope you enjoyed your Arsenal show, and I will be seeing you on there again soon, mate. So thanks for the raid. Much appreciated, mate. Good.
Listen, he's a liar. Ange lied multiple times. The only time Ange was honest with us is when he said that I always win a trophy my second season, and he said I'm going to win one here, and he did it.
Right.
Frank, for me, I find him a negative manager. You know, when you're saying things like we get 10 good games, 30 average games, 12 bad games, what mindset are you creating at the club? What mentality are you creating for your players? When you say to your players, oh, by the way, just remember you finished 17th last year. Oh, cheers, mate. That's what I want to hear. I feel great now. When you're 3-0 down, you're 2-0 down, against Nottingham Forest, and you've got 35 minutes to go. One goal changes the game. You bring on Ben Davies and Paulinho. no attackers. What kind of negative mindset is that? And then you're 0-0 away at Brentford, a Brentford that we smashed to pieces, by the way. We dominated them at our ground. 20 minutes to go, we're getting yellow cards for time wasting. It is just negativity, man. It's a negative mindset. It's a negative messaging. But I don't pay too much attention to what he actually says in the media, only because what is said on the training pitch is the most important thing, because Ange got pelters, man. He got pelters. But he still had those players on board when he needed them. So
yes, he did.
So it doesn't really matter. The only thing I will say is players do watch social media. They do look at tweets. And when the manager's constantly got a negative, the football's going to be negative. I believe the way you play is a reflection of who you are. Ange was nuts. He was fucking nuts, the guy. And he was just attack. That's how he spoke. You saw it when people questioned him how shirty he got with fans. You know, who said that? Yeah, come and say that to me. You know, he was very... But that attack is how we play football. Just attack, you know, just... Frank, he's a negative manager, which is why we play very negative football. It's a reflection of his character.
Okay,
by the way,
okay.
There's nothing wrong with negative football if you're really good at it. Mourinho made a career out of it, but he was bloody good at it, like really good at it.
Conte as well.
Yeah, for sure. Look, do you know what? For me, just on Ange ever so quickly, I fucking love the fact that Ange Postecoglou was one of our only managers that came out and said, well, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? Who says we can't win something? For me, I've wanted that for years and years. I'm so used to managers saying, yeah, no, we're not part of that race. No, we're not going to do that. It's step by step, blah, 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 blah. You know, for me, I love the fact that Ange had the balls to come out and say, well, why not? You know, that's something I did love. However, on the opposite side of that, with Frank, I don't deem him a negative manager. I just think the statements he comes out with are true. And I know people speak about the way he looks quite a lot. I'm not sure. Yes, admittedly, our manager does look like a lesbian.
So what he said about Matthias Tel was true. He's a really good player that can play anywhere across the front three. That's true.
Do you know what? His first ever interview, his first ever conference, I did sit there afterwards and think that sounded very, very corporate. I don't think we saw the real Thomas Frank in there in interviews till the following one.
So he lied. So he lied in the beginning.
I guess so, but part of me thinks he was told to say that. I don't know. It's just my opinion. But I don't think.
So if he was told what to say, that means he didn't believe what he was saying.
Look,
it's okay to admit it. I'm not going to.
In a situation like that, you know, you're at a multi-billion-pound fucking team. If the higher ups tell you to say something, you say something. Again, I can't fucking prove this. This is just an opinion. I feel like that first press conference, he was very much goaded into saying certain things by the club. So again, I agree. It was a lie. It was a lie, fucking clearly. But
just a bit.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel like he was told to say that. But after that press conference, look, again, I don't think Frank is negative. I just think he states the facts, and I think what he's trying to do is take pressure off of players. That's at least what I think he's trying to do. So for me, I don't mind the fact.
They're saying you're going to have some shit games. You're going to have some average games.
Do you know what? Jurgen Klopp,
he was very specific. He said 10, 30, 12. He's not really specific.
Yeah, that was a bit concerning, wasn't it?
Well, you know why? Because he's a professor. Everything's a laboratory experiment. It's all, you know, pouring things into tubes, algebra on the blackboard. Hey,
are you referring to him looking like a teacher still, by any chance, mate?
It's the way he thinks about the game. It's very scientific. It's very laboratory-esque. I find him like a nutty professor, but without personality. Just that kind of
lack of
easy, non-confrontational, pleasant, run-of-the-mill laboratory technician.
Do either of you two think that last set of comments he made was a bit of a, I won't say excuse, but almost he's already accepted that we're going to lose, basically. Like telling us we're going to lose, just accept it. Because that's how it come across to me, personally. I think he already made himself. I think he already gave himself reasons to lose, basically. When he come out with this.
See, again, I look at that
I mean,
statement.
it's right what he's saying, but to me, it almost was put down like he gave himself reasons that he's going to lose.
It's factual.
Right.
True.
This is what I mean about a negative manager. Bring it up again. I'm gonna explain to you why I view this as negative. Can you bring that back up again, Dan? That
yes, I can.
Champions League. Right. This is why I tell you it's negative. Okay. So he said, "Are we really a Champions League club? We only qualified because we won the Europa League. We didn't qualify because we were one of the top 4 or best 5 clubs in the Premier League. We finished 17th, right? Okay, you can take it down if you don't mind."
Dan, drop it.
Cheers, son. So he's saying, look, we're not really a Champions League team. We're not really one of the big clubs. Should we really be in the competition? Mate, you are 1 point away from automatic qualification. You are in the top 10 in the Champions League table. And you're saying to people, are we really a Champions League team? Should we really be here? You've got 2 games coming up. If you win those 2 games, you're going to get automatic qualification. What message, and this is what I mean about negativity, what message are you sending out to your players? By the way, lads, we are 1 point away from automatic qualification, and we are in the top 10 out of all those 30-plus teams, but we shouldn't really be here because we're not really a big... Mate, fucking hell. Grab the opportunity when you're in a situation. You never know where you might find yourself in life. You find yourself in this situation where you think, do you know what? Blimey, I've got a chance here. Double down on it and just say, you know what? We got a chance at this. If we beat them 2, we get automatic qualification. We are in the hunt. We're 1 point away. Anything's possible. Never say never. Talk like that, but instead, we shouldn't be here. You know, we're not really that good. You know, we're a small club. We're not really one of the big 5. Mate, you're 1 point off of qualification. This is what I mean about negativity, Benji. It's a negative rhetoric.
But you're taking that out of context, though. This is why I disagree. I feel like you're taking that out of context because
I'm not. He's saying, should we really be here? Should we?
Yeah, but he's right.
Yeah, we are because we're in the competition. We should.
No, but he's fucking right, though. How can you say that? He's right. Look, realistically, we're 1 point away.
Benji,
no, bollocks.
Benji.
We're 1 point away. We're 1 point away because of the fucking run we've had. It is one of the easiest in the Champions League.
But we're still 1 point away.
Absolutely, but you can't blame the guy for being honest. Yeah, it's a factual statement. I don't see that as negative.
Benji, we went away to a Monaco that's unbeaten at home and we didn't lose. We have won the games we've had to win. The only game we've lost was against PSG. And by the way, we did, like you said, we did quite well against them, right? So
for the most part, yeah.
But this is what I'm saying to you. You don't know what opportunity might come up. Grab it. Like,
no, but do you not think Spurs fans are entitled enough? Do you think that's a good idea to fucking push that narrative on them? Because then you imagine the fallout if we don't.
I never said come out and say we can win this Champions League. We can be. I never said say that. What I'm saying is we are 1 point off of automatic qualification. You never know what can happen in football. We're in with a chance. We're in a good position. We've got all to play for. Let's see what happens. Say that because at least then your players might think, you know what? Yeah, let's see what we can do. Or yeah, we are in with a shout. But when you say we shouldn't really be here, are we really that good? Do we deserve to be here? You as a player, how do you feel when you hear that? If your manager says that as a player, how do you feel? Do you feel like, yeah, let's go beat Dortmund. Yeah, let's go beat Frankfurt. Do you thinking, well, if we lose to them, it's because we should lose to them because the manager said we're not really supposed to be here.
It's just something I've heard from every manager we've ever fucking had, though.
No,
I've heard the same spiel from every manager.
Sounded like reason.
No, Ange wasn't like that.
Right, hang on, let me just do the super chat. Let me just do the super chat.
Ange was telling the players we can win the World Cup.
I'm with you. If you let me finish, I was going to say.
Hang on a sec. Let me do the super chat so I can carry on moving on.
Sorry, mate.
Jerome, thanks a lot, mate. Much appreciated for the super chat. When he says before every game, we are going to be on the front foot and be aggressive. He does the complete opposite on game day. He is a liar. There we go. That's another opinion on that one.
When he came to the club, right? I think I wrote this down. I think I had to write it down because I was. Let me see if I wrote it down.
I'm agreeing with the excuses bit. When you're that close to it, you don't have to sit there and already make the excuses that you're going to lose. But it's not what he said he's wrong either. No, that's the thing with it. It's true what he said, but is that the sort of thing you go and say before you've got a chance to get into the next round of the Champions League? To me, he gave himself excuses. Right. But it was true also what he said. It weren't the right thing to say.
This is the same manager who said, I'm going to read this, if you don't take risks, you also take risks.
Very true.
So if you believe in risk-taking, if you believe if you don't take risk, it's a risk not to take risk, why are you downplaying the fact we're in the Champions League then? Like, why are you talking like this? Why are you talking about being 17th and we should only have 30, 40, 10 good games and 40 crap games? Why say these things then? If when you first joined us, you said, if you don't take risk, mate, this guy talks about taking risks and we're getting yellow cards for slowing down the game at Brentford away.
When it's 0-0.
Come on. What are we doing here? Risks.
Good point.
Risks. What's he talking about? The risk of getting a red. What's the risk?
It's very hard to argue, isn't it? To be fair,
it's very hard to fucking argue with that one, mate. I'm sorry on that one. You really can't, because that's the sort of thing you want them to do against PSG or something, basically, when there's 10 minutes to go, not when it's 0-0.
See, to be fair, Frank is doing the complete opposite of that. So I suppose in a way you could call him a liar. I mean, the way I'm viewing Frank.
I told you he's a liar, Benji. I told you he's a liar. He lies.
Look, the way I view Frank is the sign. I'm convinced Frank's going to be here for a long time. By the way, Arnie Slot came out the other day and said something. The sign of a manager being somewhere for a long time is they implement things step by step. And right now, the way I see it with Frank is he is genuinely sticking to trying to make us hard to beat. And shoring up that back line and making the team as a whole a better defensive unit, which is okay to do. You know, look, unfortunately, it's fucked us in every other area. We can't pass, we can't attack. What
happened against Tottenham Forest?
Well, I mean, look, listen, but you get games like that, don't you? I hear you.
What happened against
Fulham? Games like that. For me,
what happened against Arsenal? What happened against Bodo Glimt? I could go on and on and on.
I fucking know you can.
Hard to play against, mate.
But again, look, we fought. Hold on. Wait. I think I've got it here. Wait a minute. For the last 2 years, we've played under a manager that says, "There's wind, here's caution. Fuck off." Right?
Yeah.
We're 4 months in. We are 4 months into him trying. It's not like he's been here all season. I swear, and I'm guilty of it as well sometimes. I swear we forget he's only been here 4 fucking months. And when you're trying to train a team to be a certain way and build a foundation, you are not going to fucking do that in 4 months. I am sorry. Especially with the fucking dog shit squad that we've got currently. And you can tell, you know, I want this conversation again when he's brought in his own players. You know, I think at the minute what he's trying to do is build a spine of a team right now. But, yeah...
Do you think this team is better than 13th? Do either of you two think this team is better than 13th?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do.
So are they really that much dog shit players that we got? Or is that just now what people are saying to give Frank the excuse? Because last season,
don't match.
Last season, it was all down to Ange and it weren't the players' fault. Now it's all down to the players and not down to Frank. Surely there's got to be an in-betweener here, isn't there?
Guys, if we were 8th or 7th right now, okay, if we were 8th or 7th, would this conversation exist? Would these conversations be happening on YouTube if we were consistently 7th, 8th? Would fans be saying, managers, okay, if he beat Brentford, we would have been 7th. We would have been 7th.
Yes.
This is the issue. Instead, we put in another stinker another negative performance, picking up yellow cards for delaying the clock. This is what I mean. It's negativity. It's a negative mindset. Like, if you're Frank, surely you say, you know what? Fucking let's try and win this, because if we do, we go 7th. And it takes all the pressure off me, takes the pressure off the players. The away fans aren't going to be singing, we want a refund, you're not going to hear boring, Tottenham. All this stuff goes away. Instead, he's like, no, let them sing that. Let the pressure come on. We're going to try and get a draw here. That's what I mean.
Well, wait a minute. I've got something for you. Right, so that game, in parts, what you just said, I do agree. However, I want you to take this into consideration. Brentford at home are no mugs, okay? They have drawn twice, won 6 times, and lost once all fucking season. Their home record is unbelievable, and certainly you can't take that for granted. So I understand the way Frank initially set up. However, I will ask questions on the second half, because after watching the first half, I genuinely sat there and thought, they're for the taking. We can absolutely take it to them. The problem I've got with Frank, hold on, let me finish. The problem I've got with Frank is that he didn't go for it. Look, and again, I'm arguing for Frank here, but I'm just going to throw this out there. Right, so Frank, second half, what does he do? He takes off Odebear and brings in Mawani, a straight swap, okay? He then pushes Archie Gray up into striker. Admittedly, he'll drop back at times, fine, but essentially he was a striker for a lot of the time he was playing in the second half, wasn't he? So you've taken off Odebear, you've replaced him with Mawani, a striker. And then what he's gone and done, which I thought was fucking tactical genius, and again, I'm taking a piss when I say this, he then goes and puts Mawani on the right, brings Tell on, puts Tell on the fucking left, and then has Kudus as striker with Richarlison. For me, where is the logic in that? And again, I know tonight I'm trying to argue for Frank, because I feel strongly enough that I believe he is the right guy. I don't see any logic in that. For me, that is fucking insane. But like I said, I don't blame him for the way he initially approached the game, because Bournemouth are no fucking mugs. Say what you want about them. Their home record is blinding this year.
Okay, I'm going to counter this.
Okay, let me just do the super chat quickly then, Stel. And Jerome, thanks a lot, mate. Appreciate it again. Mourinho took us from 14th to 6th in his first season. Conte 4th, Ange 5th. But with Frank, who feels we are finishing in the top 8?
In those seasons, we had Son and Kane. Under the Conte and fucking, what's his name? We did have Son and Kane.
Ange never had Kane.
No, Ange didn't, admittedly. But what did he take us to?
And Conte had a diabolical defence.
And midfield.
But he countered that by playing 3 at the back. Look, all I'm saying is when you've got Son and Kane in your team, for 2 of those managers at least, it's very, very hard to compare.
Why did everyone say Ange out, we shouldn't be 17th in the league? Why did they say that then? When Ange had us 17th, everyone was saying these players aren't that shit. Now we're bottom half of the table, fans are saying the players are shit. So why didn't you say that last year?
Because somewhere down the line, and I think it came way too late, somewhere down the line, there has to be a bit of fucking realism. And these players, for the most part, now I won't sit here and say they're bad players, because they're not bad players, but they're not good enough for what we want. So at some point, you've got to question the players. And for me, that should have started last year, but it didn't. It was Benji, the manager.
No one in their right mind is saying these players are good. People in the chats on all shows that say, oh, these players are shit. They don't listen. They're just driving agendas because they just want to prove Frank is the dog's bollocks. They're so hell-bent on proving Frank is the best because they hate Ange. There's fans that wanted Ange sacked so that he wasn't the guy that won the Europa. We've got that kind of a lunatic fan base.
That is true as well.
Mate, I saw it. I'll never forget it. No one is saying, nobody on any channel has said, these players are great. No one said that. What we're saying is these players shouldn't be bottom half of the table. They should not be. That's what we're saying. Which is why I said to you, if we were 7th or 8th now, would this chat happen? It wouldn't. We wouldn't be having this chat. No one expects 4th or 3rd or 5th. Nobody expects that. I do expect us to be knocking on the door of Europe. Just knocking on the door. Can we sneak into Europe? If we don't get it, we don't get it.
Gray as a 10. What the hell was that all about? That's the manager. Yesterday's game was down to the manager for me. More than the
way,
players.
right?
I agree.
So you said Brentford have got a brilliant home record. I get why Frank did it. Okay, let me reverse
Which is
this.
true.
Can I just add one more thing before you start? I'm so sorry. That same Brentford team at home put 3 past Man City and 3 past Man United as well.
All right. Fair play. They've got a really good home record. It's facts.
Mm-hmm.
Who's got the best away record in the league? Yeah.
Is it us or are we second best?
No, it's us.
We're top 2 either way, isn't it?
Okay. Right. So we counter that straight away because we're the best team on the road. And you saw 2 teams that cancelled each other out. One of the best home teams and one of the best away teams. The team that takes that risk is the team that's going to go for it. We were too scared to do it. We were too scared to take that risk. And that's what I mean. He's overcautious. Brentford weren't brilliant yesterday. Brentford weren't wow. But what Brentford did was they had a lot more of the ball and they pushed us back. But when they got to the final third, they didn't know what to do. They were missing chances over the bar. I think Vicario made 1 good save the whole game. We dealt with it. But we should have tested them. We should have tested them much more. We didn't. We just simply didn't. And that's what I mean. We were just very negative in that game. We were, I'm not saying disrespect the opposition. You've got to show them some respect.
Absolutely.
But what about our respect? We're the best team on the road. We're coming to you. We're going to show you why we're the best team on the road. And we didn't even freaking put a goal in the back of the net. I think we had 1 half-decent chance, and that was it.
Again, it's hard to disagree. I am agreeing with you. I do that, especially the second half. I feel like that is genuinely on the manager. For me, that's still not taking anything away from him. These things happen. It's just, you can't argue with the fact that it was a manager.
Do either of you two think that he made a massive mistake by basically having a dig at the fans? And I don't think he's, in my opinion, I don't think he's only had a dig at the fans once. I think he's done it 3 times now. 1 quite blatantly, 2 quite subtly.
Honestly, whenever fans come to me, and when I say fans come to me, like friends of mine and all that, and say this, I tell them one thing: fuck off. What an embarrassment! Look, listen, right? This is the way I look at it. When he said that, he wasn't talking about the whole fan base. I mean, every single fan fucking seemed to get a little bit butthurt because they just want a reason to fucking moan. But he was talking about a specific section of fans who were booing their own fucking player like rival fans. Now, this is the same fucking fans. Hold on, this is the same fans that were booing Vicario. Okay. Do you know who else was on that fucking pitch? Richarlison. And you were booing Vicario, who games previously had saved us left, right, and centre. I mean, give me a fucking break. I don't think there's anything wrong with a manager coming out and saying you shouldn't be doing that as Tottenham fans. He said, I've got no problem with the fans booing the performance after the game, fine. But booing specifically one player during the game, what does that make us look like? I think it's fucking stupid.
Like the away fans did yesterday.
But he was again after the press conference. I'm not mad about that.
Hang on. Oh, so he's not mad? No. I'm going to step in
because it's a general thing rather than aiming at one player.
If he wants to focus on a certain side of fans for booing a player, booing the team while they're on the pitch, well, yesterday it was all the away fans doing it, and you could hear it clear as day. So shouldn't he now be saying you away fans are mugs as well and not real supporters? Same as he basically said to the people who were booing while they was on the pitch there. I mean, me personally, I think that is the biggest mistake a manager can ever make, and that's picking on any portion of the fan base.
Oh, fuck off. Okay. I think that's fucking nonsense.
That's definitely a way you turn people against you. Then you're not very clever when it comes to a business if people go and do that. You don't want to turn your own fans on you, not any side of them, surely.
He's under pressure, right? He's not been under pressure before in his life. At Bromby...
Well, he's just put himself under more pressure now, hasn't he?
Yeah.
By doing that. He turned fans against him by doing that, which done him no favours.
it's like Ange. He snapped with the fans because he was feeling the pressure. This is what I mean about, we were going into this season in the Champions League, 2-3 games a week. We're European winners. He's got no experience of any of these things, and I remember saying it on to I think it was Sava or Sean. I said to them, things happen to people when they go to other clubs. When you're a player at a small club, you go to a big club. If you're a manager at a small club, you go to a big club. The expectation, the weight, the demand is different. You've got to be able to adapt to manage that. Some, they embrace it. Others, they drown in it. Others, it takes them a while to find their feet if they're given that time. Frank, for me, it seems like he's not drowning, but he's beginning to sink. He's beginning to sink in it. He's not handling it well. So this is a lack of top level club experience, understanding this environment's different. I remember one fan saying he can lose 3 games in a row at Brentford, no one gives a shit. But if he wins 2 or 3 in a row, he's doing a good job. Like Iriola, he's losing every week at the moment. No one's really talking about it. But if he wins, he's really, really good.
Flavour of the month.
At Tottenham, you lose 3 in a row, it's a crisis. It's a full-blown crisis. Do we need to get rid of the manager? Look at Maresca at Chelsea. Look, a couple of bad results, gone. See you later. That's what happens at big clubs. That's how it works.
Yeah, but the defining
until Arne Slot went on a bit of a winning run, they were saying, "Look, we've got to get rid of him. Time's up." So that's what happens at big clubs. At Burnleys and Brentfords and Crystal Palaces and Sheffield Uniteds, these kinds of clubs, mate, you get a lot more time. There's a lot more breathing space. It's not like that at Spurs. You don't get that. And rightly so, because we should never be in that bottom half of the table. No manager, I don't care who the manager is, should we be in that situation, ever.
Do you know what? It makes me want to go back to Arteta. So, look, listen, I don't think we're going to end up in the bottom half of the table come the end of the season. Again, I can't guarantee that, but
no idea.
I'm convinced that won't be the case.
Why?
Because you know what? Honestly, no, that's fine.
Just
because
I think so.
That's fine. That's fine. Because I genuinely believe that things will start clicking at some point in the coming weeks, maybe a month, whatever it may be. I've seen just about enough from individual games that put together, we will start playing a much better style of football. Again, I
Benji,
feel like
we can't pass a ball. As a team, we can't pass a ball.
I'm hearing you. I'm well aware it's fucking embarrassing, but you can't tell me. Look, it's such a fucking difficult one because the way I look at it is this is a project with, for all intents and purposes, a poor team and some serious fucking injury problems. I don't think we're having this conversation if Madders is fit. I don't think we're having this conversation if Kulu's fit or Solanke even, because I feel like Solanke suits Frank's style of play are much better than what we've currently got.
Not that we even know at the moment. We've had nothing to prove that.
No, that's but you know what? I think Solanke is quite similar to Tony in the way he's quite good at holding up the ball. He's decent aerially. He reads the game a lot better than the players that we've currently got sitting up front. So for me, I don't think we're going to finish there. If I'm brutally honest with you, I feel like we are going to be top 10. Whether it is just inside or not, I don't know. But at the same time, I think managers should look at Arteta. He's a perfect example, right? I know he won that trophy in his first season. No, it wasn't his team, but regardless, he won the trophy. I just think looking at Arsenal's formula, and it is a formula, everybody at Arsenal fucking hated Mikel Arteta for 3 years. They wanted him gone because he was finishing 8th, 5th. It wasn't good enough for their club, but they held on to him, and look at them now. They are sitting pretty at the top of the Champions League table and sitting pretty at the top of the Premier League table. That's what happens if you give a manager time.
He won a trophy in 6 months. He took.
That is his only saving grace. The only saving grace he's got.
If you look at where Arsenal were when he took over, and you look at the results to the end of that season, he would have finished 6th. He would have finished 6th if the season started when he took over. He put, and I've spoken about this before, Benji, he put credit in the bank. He said, there you go, give me something back. He bought himself that time. You see, Pochettino, although he won nothing.
So one FA Cup buys you 5 years.
No, because by the third year, they were challenging for the title. So they came second. They've come second.
COVID saved them as well. COVID saved their ass as well.
COVID was a massive, massive saviour, 100%. He got, and do you know what? That's the luck. I mentioned it earlier. You create the right environment. You create that luck. You see, Poch. I think Poch put credit in the bank. Although he won nothing, what Poch did do is he's the only manager that realistically challenged for a title and actually got us to a Champions League final. We've never seen that as Spurs fans in 30, 40 years. I feel, although he never won anything, he put some credit in the bank to be at least be given a chance for that rebuild he asked for. I think he put enough credit in the bank for at least that rebuild to see if he could get it over the line. But we chose not to. We've gone on this pathway and look where we've ended up. People say it's a sliding doors moment, and it probably is because we are nowhere near that.
But are you contradicting yourself by saying, you know, Arteta won a trophy, which was enough to put credit in the bank, whereas Pochettino won fuck all. So why does that then give him the right to deserve that rebuild? That doesn't.
Because he did something we've never seen at Spurs. We genuinely challenged for a title. We were in a title race up until the last 5 games. Until the Battle of the Bridge, we were on course to have a chance of winning the league title. He got us. We were 90 minutes away from being crowned the kings of Europe. We've never. Spurs have never been in a European Cup final. That's our first ever Europa Cup final of the main one, the big one. We've never been in the final.
Champions League final.
The Champions League.
Yeah. So
that's our first ever Champions
60s,
Cup final.
Dan, even in the 60s, that amazing Bill Nick, they lost the semi-final. So
I know.
I feel Poch showed us things we've never seen before. Hence why I say he's put some credit in the bank. He was still a loser, right? He's still a loser because he won fucking nothing. But he put some credit in the bank to be. I believe Benji. He bought himself some time. That's what I'm saying to you.
Because he gave people to have some hope about. He gave people events to have some hope about, basically. Even down to
funny enough, Still nearly got fired in his first season.
Yeah, but anyway, Jerome, thanks again.
Yeah, but he finished the season strong, though. He finished the season very strong.
What are you saying here? We can bring Madders, Kulu, and Solanke back. I am convinced there would be zero change in the style of football. He cannot get the best out of Simmons, Mwane, and Kudus, who are all like for like. And I must admit, I do agree with that, mate. So thanks a lot for the super chat, mate. Much appreciated.
Can I say, right? I got a fair bit of stick 2 months ago when I said Mwane shit in front of goal. Right? That bit no one listened to. It's just I was still saying his shit. He has been awful in front of goal at Spurs. He's 0 goals in the Premier League. Whether he starts, comes off the bench, mate. He's genuinely been. He's been poor. He's really been poor in front of goal. For all the good touches, the good little dribbles, the odd pass here and there, mate, his end product for Spurs has been absolutely woeful. And I don't believe it's because he is that shit. I do think it's partly because of the way we play. I think it's down to the way we are just poorly coached to attack.
Do you not think it's got anything to do with the fact that he didn't play football for 2.5 months before he came to Spurs, and then after coming to Spurs, then gets injured? I mean,
Benji. So there's an excuse for him. There's an excuse for Simmons because he's never played in the league before. There's an excuse for Kudus because he plays every week. There's an excuse for this guy. There's an excuse for that one.
But there are reasons for issues, though. You can't just write that off.
But we've got a reason as to why every individual attacker isn't performing other than the coach and the manager. I've never known this before. I've never known any manager to get no criticism for any of the attacking players to not be doing anything at all.
Yeah, but you know what though? You say that.
Are they all
Three
crap?
of our four.
Is
No, hold
Moani
on,
shit?
hold on.
Is
Three of our
shit?
four attackers
Xavi
are brand
Simons,
spanking new
Virgil,
to the team.
Richie, Odegaard,
Right.
Tell, they all shit. Every single one.
But the three of our attackers are brand spanking new to the team. You got to take that into consideration as well. How many teams have we seen? Hold on. Chelsea is known. Every few years they'll buy a massive influx of players and they'll be shit for a season or two. It's like a known thing. With Spurs, we brought in 3 new attackers, and admittedly, they haven't gelled right now. I wouldn't call them shit, because and as far as Moani goes, still, I'll answer you on this much. If we'd played Moani at number 9 for the same amount of time that Richarlison's had, I can't guarantee that he'd score the same amount of goals. But I'll tell you one fucking thing: our team's fluidity would be fucking night and day. Listen, Moani, when it comes to Richarlison and Moani is faster, can beat a man. His link-up plays better. He's smarter than Richarlison. I feel like had he been given the same amount of time as Richie, we'd be far more fluent than what we are.
He started up front against Liverpool when we were attacking more than we've ever seen before, and he scored nothing. We attacked more against Liverpool than I've seen us attack in a long time, and he scored nothing. We dominated Brentford when we beat them 2-0. We didn't score in that game either.
I mean, for me, I just feel like Moani isn't sharp. He's had so much time off. It's almost unbelievable. And he's not been given a consistent run as a striker, number one. Where's he been played mostly at Spurs? Fucking left wing. I don't get me wrong. I know he's played there in his career, but he's not an out-and-out left winger. He's predominantly a striker.
Benji, who plays him there?
Who plays him? Definitely the assistant manager. It's not Frank, I can tell you that much.
So the assistant manager's picking the players' positions?
Absolutely. 100%. It's not Frank. Can't be.
Listen, I can get Moani having the off day. I can get Kudus having a bad day. I can get Simmons having a little bit of time to settle in. But in general, they all look they're all looking way below par, all of them.
I'll tell you what. Let's lead on to the next question, because the next question I think is quite interesting.
Hang on a second.
Yeah,
we've had 384 votes, and 74% no, he's not the one. 26% he is the one.
That's kind of.
I think, guys, a lot of fans deep down, if they can put their hatred for Ange to one side, and they can put to one side that you've got to be patient, these things take time. If they just sit somewhere in the middle and ask themselves, do you honestly think Frank is going to give you the type of football you want in the long term and make us that top level club that a really well-backed manager can deliver? I think most fans will say, no, he's not that guy. If you said to him, do you think he can do a decent job? I think fans will say, yeah, if you give him time, he'll do a decent job. But most fans, I think, deep down know he's not that guy. And that guy meaning our Klopp, our Pep, our Wenger.
Pochettino.
Our Pochettino. Fine, I'll put it in there, fine. Our Poch. Most people know deep down, he's not that guy. Can he be our Martin Joel? Yes. Can he be our... trying to think who else did all right for us in recent years. Well, Redknapp, maybe a bit of a Redknapp, maybe, yeah. But that level above, I think most fans deep down know he's not that guy. I think they know that, and that's where. And Benji, this is what I'm saying to you. This is where we're stuck as a fan base.
I see no evidence for that statement. That is the problem for me.
But there's no evidence to suggest otherwise, right? There's no evidence to suggest otherwise. No, look, I'm just sharing with you what I think. I think most fans deep down, they like the idea of giving him a chance and being patient. But I think if you said to most fans, if we could bring in Glasner tomorrow or Jurgen Klopp tomorrow, would you take it? I think most fans say yeah. Why would you say yes then? Why would you say yes then if Frank's the guy? It's because they know he's not. Do that poll. Would you take Jurgen Klopp or Glasner over Frank?
I wouldn't.
I don't even think that one needs a poll.
I wouldn't waste your fucking time.
I mean, but realistically, anyone who would say no to Klopp is a dickhead. That's all there is to it over fucking Thomas Frank. And I ain't usually one to each their own opinion, but my if you would pick Thomas Frank over Klopp, you're a dickhead. And that's all there is to it on that one. No ifs, no buts, no opinion. That is a fact.
Look,
all
I'll sign off with on that poll, right, is this. That just proves to me that above anything else, right, I don't think fans are willing to be patient. If look,
they are for the right manager. They are for the right manager.
Fine, but wasn't he the exact sort of manager we needed before he signed for the fucking club? This is what I can't stand about flip-flops. 1 minute. I saw it fucking everywhere. We need someone who can improve players. We need a tactical manager, someone who lives, breathes, and thinks.
Come off YouTube. Hardly anyone was saying that. It was the YouTubers that were driving it. YouTube was driving it. Most
I see
fans
it everywhere.
Listen, from what I saw, it was it was a mixture of some were saying keep Ange, some were saying we want Glasner, some were saying bring back Poch. I think some did say Frank. And I think others said get like Xavi, the guy that was at Barcelona. Right?
Xavi, yeah.
It was very divided. It was very divided.
Could you imagine Xavi right now? Fucking play tiki-taka. Go ahead, Gray. Go ahead, Bergvall. You crack on with that, boys, yeah? It would be a shit show if someone like that came in with our current squad.
Bergvall would improve under a manager like that.
Hey, yeah, all right, fair enough. No, fair enough. I can get on board with that. Well, look, listen, we'll move on to my last question, and this is I think it's quite an interesting one. Right, so for a minute we're gonna have to play hypothetical, although I do think it's going to be the case. Right, let's say Frank stays. Do you trust Thomas Frank in the transfer market still?
Is he in control of the transfers or not?
Because you would assume so, even though if I'm brutally honest with you, for years and years I felt a lot of the signings we've brought in weren't off the manager's back. I feel like there were options given, but things are supposed to be different. Things are supposed to be different.
For a lot of the transfers, Ange did cop it, so I suppose you can go both sides on it.
Do you know what it is? The reason why I'm going to argue for this, right? Because
I don't think he's going to be able to attract the players he wants.
That is a point. What does
that's
really
a good point. But again, we don't know that until we know that. So right now, I don't think it's fair that we say it.
You ask me what I think, right?
I think, no, for sure.
Let's say he wants Semenyo. You're not getting him. Sorry, mate. You're not getting that player. You know, if he wants Akalouche, I don't think he's going to attract Akalouche. I think players look at Spurs and ask themselves three things: how much?
You don't think you'll get Akalouche?
No.
Come on.
Because I think players look at three things. Number one, how much am I going to get paid? That's out of his control. That's out of his hands. Number two, what's the ambition of the club? Well, the club doesn't win much and the manager's won nothing. And then the other thing is, what's the football like? It's fucking awful. It's absolute garbage.
No, but it will be a project that is sold to them. You know, for all intents and purposes, we are at the very start of that project. And I think we do. I'd like to think.
Benji, if you're a player now looking at Spurs, are you coming to Tottenham? If you're a good player and you're looking at us now, do you want to come to us right now looking at us?
Watching the football at the moment, probably not. But if I have a conversation and I sit down and I listen to where we want to be, maybe. I mean, look, at the end of the day, we look, people can say no one came in for Xavi, fine. Xavi was a top talent around Europe. We still managed to bring him in. You know, so mate, say what you want. We still got a player that everyone was.
Hold on. We wanted Morgan Gibbs White. We wanted Eze. Xavi Simons was like
third or fourth on the list.
He was a drop off.
But you can't blame. I mean, look, that fucking Morgan Gibbs White thing.
But Benji, that's my point. He can't get the players he wants. He's not going to get what he wants.
You're getting away from the point because it was about attracting these good players that you could bring into the team. And for me, a lot of people wanted Xavi. I mean, just look what he's done. 3 out of 4 seasons he's played football. He's had double GA for 3 out of 4 seasons, which I think is fucking fantastic, which is why he was so widely regarded. And we managed, we were able to attract him. Thomas Frank did that.
Do you think, okay, so why don't we go for him first?
Why didn't we go for him first? Do you know what? I can't answer that, if I'm honest with you. So yeah.
Because it was a semi-panic signing. We signed him because the players we really wanted we couldn't get, and that's the reality of it. And it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that for most of the time under Frank because we're just not a good team. We're not. See, the reason Poch done so well is because he developed a lot of players in the beginning that made us good. That then attracted some better players. You see, Frank, and this is Benji, and this is what really bugs me with some YouTubers, right? This is where they need to all be called out. They all said, look what he did with Tony. Look what he did with Damsgaard. Look what he did with Wissa and Mbuemo. Nobody knew these players before they went to Brentford. He made them a name. Fine. So if we've got a manager that brings in unknowns and develops them into somebodies, then why are we signing unknowns so that he can develop them into somebodies instead of saying we need Eze, we need Gibbs White, we need Savina? Because he's never managed players that are ready-made. He's never dealt with that, and that's not his skill set. Because if you're going to sign players that are ready-made, then bring in managers that perform with them, like Conte's, like Klopp's, because they perform with the ready-mades. So all the things that were sold to me about Frank, he develops. Then why are we going down that route? Or why are we bringing a manager?
Yeah, but you can't say that he can't do that with more established players. I think that's really unfair to say.
Benji, so then why didn't we hire a manager that works with established players who's proven, rather than signing a coach who develops unknowns? Why have we done that then? Make sense of it.
No, look, it's a good point, but I see no reason as to why he wouldn't be capable of doing such.
So bring in a manager that's proven at it, Benji. Bring in, like, if we went and signed some random championship player, we went and signed Delap from who was it that went down with
Ipswich,
and he went and signed.
Chelsea,
he went and signed one of the midfielders from Wolves, and all these players think, what are we doing here? And then he develops them. He say, right, that makes sense because that's what he's known for. He's known for that. We're matching the transfers with the proven skill set of the coach. What we're now saying is we brought in a manager who's proven to develop these players that aren't really well known. But what we're going to do is we're not going to sign players that aren't really well known. We're going to bring in the finished article. But hold on a minute. Then bring in a manager that does that. Bring in a manager that actually does that. This is the bit now I don't understand. Because all I'm hearing from a lot of YouTubers is, what do you expect to do with these players? They're all shit. He needs proven talent. No more kids. That's fine, but that's not what Frank's known for. Which is what you said we needed, a coach. This is where now the arguments have collapsed and they now want a different set of criteria, which wasn't what they were arguing for before. But then you need the manager that matches that criteria. Otherwise, you're taking a risk by saying, well, we hope Frank can work with these players because he's never proven that before.
No, it's a very solid point. In all fairness, that is a very, very solid point. But, and again, it is hard to argue.
That's not his fault, by the way.
Of course it's not. But again, right now, it remains to be seen whether or not that's the case. But I will go back to the original question. Do you trust him in the transfer market? And the reason why I'm saying this is I will admit this summer, we did not bring in the amount of players we need. I know Sava sings it till it's blue in the face. We did not bring in the amount of players that we needed. That's just
but Sava also said, look at the players he developed at Brentford.
Well, but look, either way, the reason why I advocate for trusting Frank in the transfer market is since he's come to the club, I thoroughly believe the level of quality we have brought in has gone up. Look, listen, we brought in Kudus, Paulinia, Xavi, and Mawani. Now, these are on paper all good quality players, and all four of them at the time walked into our first 11. And that's something I've not seen at Spurs since. I've not seen that at Spurs. So for me, when it comes to the transfer market and what Frank can do and whether because the thing is, you ask that question about managers, don't you? Especially if they have come from a lower level. Can I trust them to bring in players? Can I trust them to bring in the right players? I have to say, from what I've seen from Frank so far and the players that he's brought in, I am more than happy for him to be backed to bring in these better quality players. Do you agree or disagree with that?
No, because I think Kudus has regressed. I think Mawani's been absolutely crap. I think Xavi Simons he's not getting the best out of. The only signing he's made,
he's been shit. Let's just say it straight. Simmons
he has been shit, but you have to give him time.
Again. Oh yeah, but hang on a minute. If you're going to state that another player's just been shit, end of, then you say it about another player. Because I can now turn around and say, well, Kudus was good and then been a bit shit and then been a bit good. Mwane's been shit, but could get better. No, you stated Simmons has been shit. Let's be real.
No, but all three are in different situations. All three are in different situations. All three.
So one the only player who's been consistently good that he signed is Paulinho. Paulinho, pound for pound, has been one of the best number sixes in terms of defensive sixes in the league. He has completed the most tackles in the league. He is a proper old school six, and he delivers 9 out of 10 games. That's what a good signing looks like. Simmons has been inconsistent. Mwane's been a massive flop, and Kudus has gone to shit. The last month, he's absolutely gone to shit. Maybe because he's been overplayed. Maybe because he's been poorly coached. I don't know. I'm not on the training pitch. But he's not fair play. He's not looking good anymore.
I mean, Dan, look, I'll answer your question just then. Like, for me, again, all three are completely different situations. When you look at someone like Kudus, I just think his form has dipped. I think that is nothing more than the fact that his form has dipped. I'm sure it doesn't help that the overall quality of the team and performances we've been given have probably helped that fact. And then you've got someone like a Xavi, someone who, for all intents and purposes, is a very slight player, a very weak player, has never played in the Premier League before, which is a huge factor when you are of that size. Admittedly, he did quite well in Germany. And if you ask me personally, I think Germany is the closest league in terms of physicality to the Premier League.
If a player's been shit, he's been shit.
No, I'm not fucking saying anything other than the fact that
Simmons has been shit. Let's just be real.
I'll accept that he's been shit.
Had a good game and he's been shit.
I've been one of the first people to say he's been shit. In fact, at times, he's been detrimental to the team. That's how bad he's been.
I think the tactics kill him, guys. I think our tactics kill him.
I agree.
I really believe that. Our tactics
I agree. But I didn't say he was shit. He has been shit. Is anyone going to tell me he has played good for us since he's been here?
He's been shit in our system. In our system, he's been shit. Okay.
Whatever you want to give both of you are saying whatever you want to give the reason, whatever it is, he's been shit, period.
See, I'll be like,
you can come up with reasons, but he's been shit since he's been here, same as Mwane.
My point to that is he needed an adjustment period, and he's also very young as well. Whereas Mwane's situation, a massive lack of football. So all three of those suggestions you gave me have very, very different sort of.
Where's Kudus falling apart?
For me, Kudus, all I said on Kudus was his form has dropped, and I'm sure the way the team is playing doesn't.
Do you think he's been played too much? Do you think it's like where there was at one stage he was literally playing back to back to back?
No, I don't think he was good as everyone was making out. There you go. I said it.
Do you know what? Benji might have a point, right? Because I was chatting to a West Ham fan, and he was saying to me, you've all hyped up Kudus. You all think you've got a brilliant football player. But he has these periods where he's really good, then he goes missing for a month. Then he's good again, then he goes missing a month. He goes, he's a very patchy player. He said that to me. He goes, at West Ham, he was a very patchy player. When he's on it, he's on it. When he's not, it's like you might as well not have him on the pitch.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Maybe we signed an inconsistent player.
I do agree with that. I mean, I didn't think Kudus was as great as everyone said when we got him. I think he's a good player, but I think a few people made it out like he's a special player and spoke about him like he was a special player. And yes, he did play some good games for us, but I don't think he's quite as good as everybody makes out. But that's just a personal opinion.
In terms of ability, Kudus is fantastic. But let's be honest for a minute here.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
When I say ability, hold on.
Benji, preach. I agree with you.
Right, amen, brother.
I wouldn't say fantastic.
No, look, his ability is unquestionable. He is fantastic at beating a man.
I'm not saying that, but
no, I know you're not. Hear me out.
That's a bit much for me.
His ability on the ball is fantastic. It is proven stats that he is the best dribbler in the Premier League. That's a fact.
He's good, man.
Okay,
I'm not saying he's not.
This is what I'm also going to say about Kudus. Do you know what he does fucking do? He slows down our play. from not being able to do the most basic of things, and that is make a pass. He slows down our progression up the pitch by trying to take on 6 players. Hey, look, it looks great in the process, but when you've got a man running past you, all you've got to do is dink.
Do you know what, Benji? Do you know what? I'm not sure. I still haven't decided whether he's just a greedy player or whether he doesn't trust some of the players around him. I'm still in two minds.
Yeah,
I don't know yet. I don't know yet.
I'm leaning towards greedy. I'm going to be honest.
I'm on the fence. I'm doing what I'm doing a Lubo. I'm sitting on the fence.
Okay,
I mean, when it comes to it, like I say, maybe it's just where we use different words, different attitudes. It's like, for me, it's like the phrase "world class" gets used way too easy. Yeah. Oh, he's world class. He's quality. He ain't fucking quality, and he ain't fantastic. He's very good at what he does. If you want to talk about fantastic for me, now we start talking about a Messi. Now you start talking about a Ronaldo. Now you start talking about a Modric. That's what a fantastic is for me. Kudus ain't fantastic.
Okay, no, fair enough.
He's very good. Yeah. Then maybe that's just where we use different words. I think people use exaggerating words for things a bit much, but that's just the way I talk. For you, that fantastic. If you're talking about Ronaldo or Messi, you might say spectacular. I don't know what's in your vocabulary in that aspect. But for me, fantastic, you're talking about the dog's bollocks. And that is one thing he fucking ain't. He's very good at what he does. But one thing I feel he does do is the same thing where him and Romero have got something in common. And that's where they do slow the game down, because I think they both look for the perfect pass and not what could actually be a simple pass that could make it go on from there. I don't know what you think of that.
I completely agree. I completely agree with that second part. I think he is actually the cause of a few problems when it comes to us attacking. The fact that he can't make a simple pass irritates me a bit, if I'm honest. But again, for me, you can't question his ability on the ball. It's in the Premier League, it's second to none right now.
If he was a special player, he wouldn't be at Spurs. End of.
If he was a special player, he'd be able to make a basic pass that would progress the play.
You know what I mean? This is, again, where I do feel I agree with certain people out when they say people, Spurs fans especially, Kudus is class. Stop saying he's inconsistent. He's not class. Well, it depends what class you want to call him. He's a very good player on his day, but he's quite erratic at times, can be quite slow. But again, your type of class might be very different to my type of class. So I'm not necessarily going to argue it. But, you know, when I was always out there looking, I was always wanted an 8 or a 9 whenever I was in the pubs and out there on the pool. Maybe someone else's class might be a 5 and a 6. I don't know. Everyone has different standards in life. But each to their own at the end of the day, whatever turns you on. One likes blonde hair, one likes blue eyes, you know. But I just don't rate him as a spectacular player, like quality class player. I think he's very good, and that's good enough for me in that aspect. I mean, how do you two actually rate him? Do you really think he's as good as some people on here are saying, or is it another Spurs thing, basically, where as soon as he's at Spurs, he's the dog's bollocks, like we have done with Archie Gray, like we have done with Bergvall, like we've done with other players that have come into the club and then ended up being pretty average? I don't know. Just a question.
I just think I think he's a very talented football player who is very inconsistent, which means you'll never be class, because class, you consistently turn up. You do it regularly. So he's not class. I think he's a very, very good football player. Just he's not class though. I mean, he's not immune to criticism.
Stel, would you agree with me here, mate? This might make you laugh. Kudus can do the spectacular really well, but the basics terribly. Like he's like an opposite sort of player. He does what's difficult really well, and what's easy poorly. You know, do you see what I'm getting at with that?
Yeah, there's moments when he should pass, he just doesn't. I get it.
It's like he's looking for that special pass, like what I feel Romero does. He looks for that special pass instead of sometimes.
See, I would have liked to have seen him in an Ange team where they're forced to pass an attack and see what happens then, because that's the only way. The only way you'll really know is if you see him in an attacking team. He was at West Ham, that wasn't really an attacking team. He's now at Spurs, which is a very pragmatic, boring team. I'd like to see him at City or at Bournemouth or at Villa, or a bit more pragmatic as well.
I get what you're saying.
A lot of attacking football to really understand what he's truly like. It's so hard to gauge him because, mate, honestly, I don't think people realise our tactics have sucked the life out of quite a few of our players. The wing backs have gone to mush. The wing backs at our club have been coached to sawdust.
Okay, fair point.
Not just this year, but last year too. But more this year, 100% more under Frank.
But yeah, again, it's that merry-go-round I've noticed. With Tottenham Hotspurs, I've noticed this fucking merry-go-round, right? Where each manager that leaves, the following season, we seem to buy players that would be better than the previous manager. Have any of you noticed that? Like right now, Ange could have done with a Paulinho, a Kudus. It would have been fantastic. Conte, you know,
I don't think Kudus would have helped Ange in any means or manner.
Do you not think? Well, simply based on the way that he likes his wingers to pull in.
Basically, the way Ange wants to play the sweaty ball and he needs the fella on the side to tap it in, Kudus would have been absolutely useless for him unless he'd have maybe played him on the left or something. I mean, the thing,
but Dan, he would have been brilliant at drilling that ball to the back post for someone to tap it.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe put him on the left and then he could have been something for it. I'm just thinking of him on the right-hand side. So with what you've said, put him on the left, and if he can do that, then yeah, then that would have worked brilliantly. Fine, fair enough. I mean, with the formation that we keep using, I'm still very set in my way that this team, if you look on it player for player, is still made to play at 3 at the back with wing-backs. The only time we have tried it, we basically played with 11 behind the bloody ball. 11. We didn't play attacking football in any means, or we barely even played counter-attacking football. Do you think he has got to start seriously trying and sticking to a different formation?
Did we not play 3 at the back for PSG Super Cup and Manchester City?
First game, yes. And City, we got pushed to the back sort of thing, yeah. But when we have looked best, we've looked best at playing. We still look best at playing counter-attacking football, in my opinion.
You're going to die on that hill, aren't you, Dan?
Well, until someone can show me something otherwise, or get me players that I think can play in the positions.
You've got a point, which is why this month is going to be so fucking interesting. You are right. You are right. I'm going to have to agree with you. I think the way our club is set out at the minute with the personnel we've got, we are suited to a 3 at the back. Because realistically, Porro, Udogie, you know, they're not left and right backs, are they? They are wing backs out and out. Spence, however, I feel like can play right back. I think defensively he's brilliant for the most part. No, in fact, he is brilliant defensively. Bring me your best winger, he says. But yeah, as for the other two, they literally suit the wing back formation. So, you know, it's difficult. I'll tell you, let me ask you a question, boys. I'm interested to know Stel's point on this, because me and you spoke about this the other day, Dan. Stel, what do you do with Porro right now? How do you fix that situation? Do you sell him? What do you do?
You change the system to suit your players until you get the players you want to play your system. Unless you just want to stick to your system to drum it into the players so that they eventually get it. But if you're going to clear out most of the squad, that's not going to work. If you're going to keep most of his players, then that will work. So I don't know. It depends how many players he wants to keep. Let's assume he wants to get rid of half the squad. Then he needs to change the system to suit the players he's got until he gets to clear out the squad. The system he plays sucks for the wing backs. Our wing backs, it doesn't help them at all. I also feel playing with 3 across the top with the players we've got is just mental. It's just stupid. 3 at the back, Paulinho doesn't move, just sits in front of the 3, which kind of looks like a back 4, but in a diamond shape. And then you play the fullbacks as your wingers, and you play with 2 strikers up top and you play with 2 players in the middle, whoever you want in the 8 and 1 in the 10. That's how I would do it. And you're more aggressive in your attack. It might work, it might not, but we don't give it a go. What we are doing is the same old 4-3-3, and we look absolutely shit.
Yes, we do. And I think with that is you look at it and you look at the players we've got, and now players are coming out of injuries and that. I still think you go stick Danzo or Jagusin in the middle, Van der Ven on the left, Romero on the right, then play your bloody wing backs for what they're there for. You know, Adogi.
But you change your whole system.
And then you put Porro and Bentancur in the middle. And then in front of them, I would stick Kudus and Simmons. And then in front of them, you can flick your coin with Moane or Richarlison. And with I think you can play a lot more attacking football than people might think. You know what? You can even put Porro or Adogi up to a left wing and right wing and have them pressing forward. You can do that with wing backs.
Poch was the best manager at adapting when we had injuries. You know that.
This is why we wanted Ange. Ange. This is why we wanted Thomas Frank, because he can play with the cards he's got. This is why I wanted him, and he's definitely not doing it. Go on, Stel. You were saying about Poch.
You know, just saying. I think when you look back in hindsight, Poch was the best at adapting. You know, like when we lost Harry Kane, he'd go with Son and Mora up top and put two up top, and then squeeze the midfield, and we actually looked capable. Or I just found Poch was a better manager at adapting than any other manager we've had. Better than Ange, better than Frank, better than Conte, Mourinho. He was probably the best at adapting without losing the attacking play.
I mean, Pochettino had 2 ways of playing, didn't he? He had a plan A and plan B. Plan A was that high press, high energy, and plan B was to sit back and counter. And quite frankly, we were fantastic at both. I still remember that counter game we played against Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. Fucking mind-blowing. The only question I've got with that, the only... Pochettino had a far superior team to be more adaptable with. You got to think the players we had back then compared to now, I think Benji. A night and day. I don't think just hold on 2 seconds. I don't think a single player from our current squad, bar maybe Van der Ven, maybe Paulinho, gets into that Pochettino team.
Maybe Paulinho, I'll go with that one. Maybe. But Van der Ven, I'm sorry, he doesn't get in over Vertonghen or
you don't think?
No, he doesn't. Vertonghen, I think he's a better defender overall. I mean, he was more solid in the air. His tackling was just as good. He could read the game just as good. No, he wasn't as quick, as much of a ball-playing defender as such, but Vertonghen was a better defender, and so was Alderweireld, in my opinion.
Let me read you the squad, right, that Poch inherited, and he got us in the top 6 in his first season. Or was it 5th? Whatever. He got us back into Europa in his first season. Okay, this is the squad he inherited. Emmanuel Adebayor, Capoue, Celebos, Chadley, Chicherez, Dembele, Fazio, Brad Friedel, Kabul, Lamela, Ryan Mason, Carl Norton, Danny Rose, before Danny Rose was good, Roberto Soldado, Stambouli, Andros Townsend, Carl Walker, he just joined, and Michael Vaughan.
And on top of that, when did he actually ever bring in anybody special?
And then he cleaned out 12 players in his first summer.
Yes.
12 players.
He made those players what they were. Walker wasn't a quality player when we got him. When he took him in. No, neither was Rose. People say Alderweireld was a quality player. No, he wasn't. That was why he was at Southampton. He couldn't get a game left, right, and centre at Atletico. That's why he ended up.
Right, we finished 6th, and notice I didn't mention Harry.
Hold on. Alderweireld was a fantastic, didn't he? Didn't he have Euros? He was fucking sublime in the Euros.
No, he was.
The year we bought him.
He was not rated as a quality player. Why the fuck do you think he was at Southampton? Why do you think Atletico Madrid loaned him off to Southampton? He was an established player, yes, but he was not known as a
after the
defender.
Euros, he was hot property.
We
Not
really had a manager that developed a lot of players.
Exactly that.
A lot of players at the club. Whether we signed,
do we not think Frank will do the same thing given the same amount of time?
Okay, right. So in that case, why are we trying to sign proven talent? Goes back to my conversation.
But just because they're proven doesn't mean that Frank won't be able to develop them further. There's no evidence.
If you're proven, you're there. You like Paulinho, you're there. You've got nothing else to prove. Just do what you already do. You're good. We know you're really good.
Well, I suppose.
Benji, I'm not trying to call out Frank. I'm just trying to say when you hire a manager, you see Arteta. He developed a group of unknowns, and then they started signing Declan Rice's, Eze's. That's the last thing they did. Look at the players they've signed. No one knew Gabriel, Saliba. These academy kids that have come through that he's given a chance to. He got rid of the big names. Aubameyang, Ozil, Lacazette, Martinelli. No one heard of him. Saka through the academy. He developed the team, and then he added the more household names. In recent years, the Kai Havertz, the Eze's, the Rices. He signed an experienced centre back. Hincapié, he's an experienced centre back. Trossard signed him last year, or the year before. A known Premier League. These were the last things he did. He developed the team first. What we're saying is, give Frank the finished article now. Based on what? It doesn't make sense. I'm all for it because I want better players, but is Frank that guy? Is Frank the guy you do that with? I thought Frank was more of the guy, you give him the Martinellis, you give him the Sakas, you give him the Calafioris, you give him the Lewis Skellys, you give him those players to build the team, then you attract the big guns. We're saying, no, get Savio, get Semenyo, go get fucking, any top player that you can think of. Akalush, go get them now. It just seems odd. But
a lot of those players you're talking about have, can be improved. Savio, Akalush, they're certainly not a finished article. They're good players, but they're certainly not a finished article. And again, very young.
Look, sorry.
One thing I'll ask
you in the chat saying, I was told you don't just give managers kids to develop. This is what we were told about Frank. He develops the unknown players. Embuemo,
that is very
unknown.
true.
Wisa, unknown. Damsgaard, unknown. Tony, these were all unknown players before they went to Brentford. This is what the person you're mentioning talked about. Now we're saying, no. Don't give Frank the unknowns that he developed. Give him the finished article. Well, that's not what Frank's known for.
No, well,
that's what we told Frank would do.
One question I'll ask you two then, because you said you got.
Is Frank here to be given the best players in the world, or is Frank here to develop players that we've not heard of, which is what Poch had to do? No one knew Kyle Walker, Danny Rose. No one knew freaking.
Son wasn't established in any means or manner. He'd had a good season or two in Germany.
Dele Alli, Harry Kane. Who are these players? He made them. He made them those names.
Yes, he did. I mean, so right. Last question I'm going to ask you two then. I'm going to ask you two. I mean, because you've got to jump still. Oh, they do. Goalposts just to go their way. It happens all the time. And then when you call someone out on it, they don't fucking like it. We've all had it done to us. Just some people can put their hands up and accept they was wrong and others can't. But that's just life. You'll always meet people like that. Would you two accept Poch back? Here and now. If the offer was there tomorrow, you've got a chance taking Poch back. Would you have him back?
Why are you fucking asking that question, Dan?
Because it is a question.
Do you know what, Dan? Yes, on one condition.
Yeah.
That Pochettino is given complete control of the direction of the rebuild. He gets to be the one with the football director that runs the show on it. No interference from Vinay, Charrington, Joe Lewis's kids, and sack Lange. Get rid of Lange, get a proper scout like we did with Mitchell, and let them two do it. Because I know players like Spence, Porro, Udogie would thrive. I know defensively would be really good. Players like Bergvall will improve. Yes, he'd have to buy some midfielders. We know Frank needs to buy some as well. But I think that you'd see better from Xavi Simons, better from Kudus, and you probably have to sign 2 attackers. So if he's allowed to do that, I would trust him more than Frank doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I would let him do that more than Frank, if they're the 2 options. But if there was someone else other than Poch, I'd take that, though. But if that's between Poch and Frank, I'd take Poch.
I mean, for me, like girlfriends, you never go back, do you? But you're asking me that question when, well, do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
You know, one might spit and one might swallow. It depends whatever you like at the end of the day, you know. So you go back to what one's best, don't you? I mean, whatever turns you on, it's each their own. So what I'm going to do, Stel, you said you need to jump. If you do, mate.
How much longer are you going for?
I don't know. I haven't really got a set time. What I'm going to do is put a link on here and give it 10 minutes and ask if anyone wants to jump on and say something about the manager. They're totally entitled to do it. If you want to stay here for longer, mate, you're more than welcome.
I'll stick around for a little bit. Guys.
Okay. So there's the link on there. If anyone wants to come on and say their thing,
did you just cut me off mid-question?
I'm just making a point on here quickly.
How dare you?
Because, well, you're taking so long to bloody think about it. You can see about it. It's even making you go red just saying Poch.
No,
you're thinking about it.
Fuck, I'll tell you what, it's not. It's just a lie.
So if anyone wants to jump on and give an opinion about Frank and what you think about him, you're more than welcome. The link is there now. So, Benj, where would you go with that? Poch?
Shove it up your arm. Okay. No, I'm joking. Do you know what? Look, listen, Poch, he's my favourite manager of all time. I Spurs manager of all time. I love the guy, and if I'm honest with you, I'd take him back in a heartbeat. I mean, look, I watched a man cry at a Champions League semi-final. I don't know why that meant so much to me, but he cares about the club. He is Mr. Tottenham in my eyes. So yeah, I would take him back. It'd be hard not to. So,
I mean, I must admit, I'm not usually one to go back on it in that aspect, but I do think that, and I've pinned the link up at the top, and just to go with 477 votes, is Frank the one? 26 have said no, 74%. I mean, 74% have said no, 26% have said yes.
I think still it's safe to say that it was always going to be an uphill battle for me, especially after yesterday. That didn't help my case. So congratulations, Stel. Looks like you won, pal. Well done.
Oh, it's not a competition, mate.
It's not about win or lose. It is purely an opinionated thing at the moment because we don't know what he's going to be coming in the future, basically. For all we know, he might turn this round and we might end up spectacular. I just really don't see
I predict they're going to back him. He's going to get us back into the top 4. I'm just going to be told every single day, you mug, you muppet, ha, not from you guys, you mug, you muppet, ha, in the mud, still got it wrong, blah, 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 blah. And I'm going to sit there saying, but I said that was going to happen. I never said we weren't going to get top 4. No one's going to listen to me. Stel in the mud, Stel's a flip-flop, blah, blah, blah. And then when Frank doesn't win anything and the fans turn after 3-4 years, they're like, we need someone that can actually win. I'm going to say, guys, this is what I was trying to say to you back in 2025. This is what I was trying to say to you. 2028, and you call me a muppet for 3 years, and this is what I was trying to say to you was going to happen. So,
right.
So I'm not looking forward to it. I'm not looking forward to it at all. I think
still, don't worry, mate. I was here. I was a witness. I'll back you all the way, pal. Don't worry, son. All right. I'll come on.
Mate,
no, that's not what he said.
Mate, I'm beyond it because that's not how it plays out. People just jump on whatever they can in the moment just to.
It's a narrative, mate, isn't it? It's
YouTube. It's YouTube. I swear.
Great, isn't it?
Yes,
fucking
it
great.
is.
YouTube.
So right, there's 2 people I'm going to bring on here then. And let's say you two. That's Kaz and Dave.
Hello,
how are you
boys.
two doing?
Hello,
How you
fellas.
guys doing?
All right.
Evening.
Same Spurs, different year. So come on then. Let's start with you then, Kaz. What have you got to say, mate? Go for it.
I've heard Stel's actually made some good points. Initially,
Makes change.
yeah.
I disagree with.
Initially, no. Initially, I was of the opinion that look, we need to give Frank time. However, as we saw last season with Ange, it gets to a point where you risk even relegation by giving someone time. It gets to a point where it gets so bad that giving someone time to do what you hired them to do becomes an even bigger threat to the club. And I don't think that that's something that we can afford to do. And I also think that Frank has lost the dressing room, lost the fans, and he's not a people's person. He doesn't know how to motivate football players. I think he prides himself on being able to put a team together, being able to be hard to beat, and that's the type of resilience that you need as a manager when you're managing a low to mid-table football club. That's your biggest ambition is just to stay in the Premier League. But apart from that, you have to be able to build on those foundations, and that's what he's finding extremely difficult to do. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go. However, I think there's a greater issue at the football club, which is the culture, and I really don't know how that could change. But that's the real toxicity at Tottenham Hotspur, a football club where, how do I put this? A football club where players and fans, to be honest, are satisfied with absolute mediocrity, right? And I might be going off a tangent here, but if you look at Brennan Johnson, for example, right, being sold, like fans are in uproar about Johnson being sold. However, when have we ever acted like a big club, a ruthless club that is about winning? That there's competition in the dressing room, not a bunch of lads who grow close together and are friendly together, and they're comfortable. They like living in London. They like the training ground. They like the ease and the access and the comfort that they get at Spurs. But there isn't that spite that you see at big football clubs. There isn't that competitive nature, even within the culture of the club, where players are just happy. They're happy to be participating, And I think that that's where we're at as a football club, and I really don't know where we go from here, to be honest.
Kaz, do you know how I think you changed that sort of mentality at a club? I think you bring in a manager and you give him time to change the ethos from the ground up. I think Ange tried to do it. He tried to fast track it. It didn't work. But I genuinely think in order to change a way a club is, you bring in a manager and you give him time, let him build. I think fans need to accept there are bad times ahead. That's the one thing none of us are willing to accept. In order for things to change, you have to roll with the punches. Things are going to be shit for a while, but things will steadily improve if you've got the right manager. But again, look, you made some great points. I just think, and I don't know if you agree with me. Do you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's how you do it.
I hear what you're saying, but we've been through Ange, we've been through Conte, we've been through Mourinho. Nothing's changed. All these managers, they haven't been able to do it. In fact, Conte came in and just said, what was that statement he made about, this is just the nature of Tottenham Hotspur or something? I don't know. I can't remember.
He just basically made it out about the owners.
But is 2 years enough time to do that? Is 2 years enough time to change a mentality of a lifetime worth of bullshit? I don't feel.
Yeah, but I don't think. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't believe that that's always been the culture at Tottenham Hotspur. I don't believe that has always been. We've seen fantastic players play for Spurs. We've seen, Spurs being a cup-winning side. We've seen our team, even in recent history, get to the final of a Champions League. Like we've seen, and not saying that the mentality was perfect then, but we were definitely regarded as a team that was on the up, as a team that players would want to come to. If you remember, even Eden Hazard, before Chelsea came in for him, he was leaning towards making a move for Spurs from Lille. And, this was back, this is Hazard we're talking about, not saying that he would have come, and he eventually didn't come, but you know, these are.
Oh, he was interested. You're right, 100%.
He was interested in coming, you know, but now we're at a stage where we can't even attract players who aren't even half of his level, you know. So where did the I think the fall came from after that Champions League final and choosing not to kick on, and just there was some satisfaction with just being that team that almost got over the line. And I think that, you know, we just went downhill from there and never really recovered, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't think a singular manager has the power to do that. And I'll make this last point, right? If we did have a manager that could do that, we would have seen that from Mourinho, Conte, or even Ange, a manager with you know, with that kind of personality that can shift a room. The reason why people love Ange, it's not because he's a good tactician. He's a terrible, you know, tactical manager. He's awful. But his personality, he knows how to captivate people, how to get people on board with what he's doing. He's like a politician, right? He's
a man manager, basically.
Yeah, he sells you a story, he sells you a dream. And that's why so many fans are still in love with Ange, right? We could have got that with Mourinho as well. Not so much with Conte, but we failed in every single one of those aspects. So how on earth, and I'm not saying Frank is the guy, how do we change that, and where does it come from?
I do see where you're coming from, yeah, in the aspect of there was things I did like about Ange. I do like someone that's got the attitude of, do you know what, fuck you, this is how I'm going to do it, fucking deal with it. But then I also like the person to be able to accept when they're wrong and be able to change things at the same time. Who would you rather have standing next to you in the pub when there's an issue? Would you rather have Ange standing next to you or Frank standing next to you? With the attitude he's got, you'd definitely rather have Ange standing next to you because he's more man's man, isn't he? Whereas Frank seems a bit more of a nice man, should I say. Dave, how you doing, fella?
Oh, good, my friend. You?
Same Spurs, different year.
Yeah, same old shit, different day, isn't it?
Yeah. So come on then, mate. What have you got to say with things?
It's where to start, really. It's like you look at the game the other day. That was probably one of the worst football matches I've seen in a very long time, just from any league. It was terrible. I couldn't. It was hard to stay awake to watch it, to be honest with you. And then
it was bad.
It was like, yeah, I do moan how Frank sets up the team. I have my queries with it. But then you look at it and you go, what chance does he stand of being successful for Spurs when you've got players that can't even make simple 5-yard passes? The amount of times I see Gray give the ball away, Porro gives the ball away. I mean, it's like he's a shadow of the player he was last season. He can't hit a barn door with a pass now, can he? He's just on the rapid decline and going on transfers, based on transfers. Who would want to come to Tottenham? Any decent established player who would want to come to Tottenham at the moment? I was reading today, actually. There's like 5 players that are up are going for free in the summer. Upamecano, can forget that one straight away because I reckon he'll sign a new deal at Bayern. Why would he come to us anyway? Milan goalkeeper, Maignan.
Yeah.
Would be a good shout. There's rumours, there's talk about AC Milan actually are both Milan clubs, one in Vicario.
I'd want us to go and put 50 million on the table and go and get Costa from FC Porto. That would be my first choice.
I love it. I rate him, highly rate him.
I mean, who would you go for a keeper? I mean, Stel, who would you look at for a keeper? If we because we're saying that it's going to be like 17 million. They reckon Inter's going to bid for Vicario. Who would you be looking for? And just a quick one before you say that. I can't even pronounce that. What's that? Alza. That's best. I'm going to go for that one, mate. Much appreciated, mate. Thank you very much. Sorry, I think it's too little, too late. Yeah, I can go with that. Too much savage has been done. Enoch needs to sell and go. Yes, totally agree with that one. We need a new owner, investment, everything, period. Mate, I can make you 100% right on that. But starting from you, Stel, who would you look at as a serious keeper we can look at? Because for me, a keeper can get you 10, 15 points in a season.
Sorry, I was on mute. The Slavia Prague goalie.
He looked all right.
Brilliant. I thought it was brilliant when we played against him. Good in the air, good on crosses, good shot stopper. I liked him.
He looked pretty solid, and he seems like a realistic one, I suppose you're looking at in that aspect. I mean, Ben, who would you be looking at as a keeper?
I mean, for me personally, no, fair enough. For me personally, I don't really think on the list of things to do, Vicario being sold and replaced is high on that list for me personally.
I think there's higher on the list. I do agree with that.
Personally, I know he's got a bit of a bozo
goalkeeper. Is a massive part for me. In my
of course he is. Yeah, 100%. I'm sorry, guy in the middle below me. What was your name?
Dave.
Sorry, Dave. I didn't see the name. Again, I very much agree with Dave. Dan, me and you had this conversation off air. If I could go for anyone, it would be Mignon from AC Milan. I think he's a great keeper. Solid in every aspect.
He's also available to negotiate for free. So his contract runs out in the summer.
Is he really?
His contract,
and
yes.
So he's Julian Brandt from Dortmund. 17. What a great player he is.
Yes, their goalkeeper's good as well. I mean, Ellie, who would you be looking at?
Do you know what? I've always liked Matt Sells at Nottingham Forest. I think he's a fantastic keeper. He's just in a shit team, right? And they leak goals because of the way they were playing. And now they've had 3 managers, and he's like, I just like him. I think he commands his box. He's strong. He's big. He's a good shot stopper. I just think he's a fabulous keeper, but he's in a shit team. So, you know, it doesn't always highlight him as a top keeper, but I'll watch him, right? And he does all the basics brilliant, and he's got good distribution as well. All right. Other than that, we'll have David Raya, won't we? Come on. We were after him and we didn't get him, did we? What a keeper he is. He's gone up a level. Well, he's gone up 20 levels, hasn't he?
He's a top goal.
He's a top. But at Brentford he was good, but at Arsenal he's gone up. Oh, the saves he makes are like incredible. Right, but Matt Sells for me. Matt Sells.
Okay, Kaz, who would you go for?
Sorry, I was on mute.
That's fine.
I'd go for I don't know how to say his name. The guy from AC Milan.
That's who this. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just call him my nan.
Yeah, my nan.
Fair enough.
What we need is we need more than a shot stopper. We need someone who can command the box, and someone who doesn't give the back four and the defensive midfielders or players around him panic attacks. And I think we just need a keeper with that sort of presence. So I'd go for him. If I don't know if he's available, but the Brighton keeper, what's his name? The
Brogan.
Yeah, he's
a good goalkeeper, but
he's a good.
They'll probably slap a 70 million price tag on their head because that's what Brighton do, don't they? All their players.
Exactly. So
that's what happens when you get someone from the Premier League as well, isn't it? You're paying that 25% tax on top of it, isn't it?
Tax on top of it.
Yeah.
This is why we go for a goalkeeper. I would want us to put the money down and go for a proper goalkeeper. Not just one who's better than Vicario, but a solid goalkeeper. Basically like Liverpool went and done. I'd rather we went out and spent some serious money and got a proper goalkeeper.
I think you're getting that with Mignon, though, aren't you, really?
Yeah.
You are getting that with Mignon.
I don't
I
think he's
agree.
as good as Costa,
He's an-
personally. I think he's a good keeper, but I don't think he's as good as Costa.
Do you know what? I think Costa's a flash in the fucking pan, mate. I
Really?
don't think he's as good. Yeah, I don't think he's as good
He's
as
been
people make
stable
out.
for about 4 years now. Very stable.
Yeah. He's
Yeah,
like
he
Phil-
is.
He's
He
like
is
Philip
Benji, a good
Mignon, isn't
goalkeeper. He's a very good commander in
He's
his
top
box
class.
as well.
Yeah.
You know
That
what?
is
No,
why
I've seen a
you'd be
couple of
paying
games.
50 million.
Well, I don't know. For me, I think Mignon is head and shoulders above Costa. Again, it's just my opinion, but yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's more experienced as well. He's quite a few years older, isn't he?
Yeah.
What is he, 27, 28? I'll look that up.
I think I don't know how old Costa is actually, but I know Mignon is about 29, 30, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's quite a seasoned goalkeeper.
Look for you. Give me a second.
And it's the Spurs way because he's going to be next to nothing. If we got him in January, he would cost next to nothing. So that's straight down. That's how we operate, isn't it?
He's 30 years old. I'll tell you, there's another goalkeeper actually out there. I know he's not been in terrific form, but do any of you guys rate Oblak? And he's 32.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's a
Yeah.
great
He's
goalkeeper.
actually I think he's one that's actually slipped
Yeah.
down the range a bit over the past
He has,
2-3
yeah.
years.
His form's dropped a bit.
But what you're gonna get from an Oblak is, is a commanding presence in the box, and
Very much so.
But I can't see that happening, to be honest.
Similar goalkeeper to Costa. They're both very similar goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Except
Difference
I think
between Oblak and Vicario. Oblak can save penalties.
I've never seen Vicario save a penalty.
No, not I. he guesses the wrong way every time.
Yeah, he does.
Right, going to bring someone else on here then to say hello. There we go. Your picture hasn't come up on the screen very well. Let me remove it and try and bring you up again. Oh, something seems to be wrong with your camera, mate. It's not linking in properly. It's not.
I mean, have you brought on
the
Mesut Ozil? Hello, mate. How you doing?
No. I think you're going to have to re-sign in, mate. Your camera's not coming up on here properly. I don't know what's up with that. So jump out, mate, and jump back in, Craig, and it might be able to get you on there. All right, so Ellie, with everything that Benji and Stel spoke about, with this whole thing with Frank, what's your side on it? Because we haven't quite heard your side of it.
Well, put it
You don't
this way.
seem too happy with him at the moment, Ellie.
No. Well, if you read my WhatsApps, you know how I feel about him. I just, yeah, you know what I feel like. I just don't like his style of football. I just don't like him as a person either. I just think he's boring and his football's boring. And I'll go to town on him. I just don't think he's coaching very well, the way he sets us up. It's absolutely dire. And it hurts me to my very core that we're playing this style of football. If this continues, I can't watch it. I just can't watch it. I'm watching because I love our club, right? And I want to support our club, right? And I've not been to a game for a while now because I just can't stand the way we play. It's terrible. And it hits you right in the heart because you want to see Poch style football. You want to see Harry Redknapp style football where you're not afraid to attack. It's like we get the ball and we pass. Honestly, what Dave was saying, 5-yard and 10-yard passes out of play. They can't even make that pass. Don't tell me they can't make that pass. Of course they can. I just think they just don't like this manager's style and they're doing it on purpose. It just seems that way because it's such a simple pass.
I think he's lost the dressing room, or at least a quarter of it to half of it.
It just stinks. The way we play. It's embarrassing. And the commentators are saying it as well. And everybody afterwards on WhatsApp and on social media, they're taking the piss out of us. That can't go on for much longer. Come on, the ENIC are stupid, but they're not that stupid, are they?
I mean, it's no different to last season, is it? I mean, go on, Ben.
All I was going to say, right? I hear you wholeheartedly. I do, but we are 4 months in, people. Is this not part of a transitional period? I mean, don't get me wrong.
Because he's had pre-season as well, man.
Periods, though, Benji.
And people saying that
how many do we have to go through until we get to the football that we can get on board with?
And also, he's had a
pre-season,
pre-season, man.
Ange Ball, but in the Europa Cup, he saw us through, like everybody was saying about his personality. He's a man's man. He knows how to get them best when it counts. When it counts, he delivered, right? Yes, he didn't. He did shit in the league the second season. The first season started brilliantly, then fell off, then picked up, then fell off again, like a ton of bricks. But then when it actually counted, he got us through, right? And I don't like Ange Ball and I don't like Frank Ball. I want Poch Ball back and I want Harry Ball back.
You want the best of both worlds, basically.
Yeah, I want to see good football and I want to see winning football because good football usually wins. Unlucky for Poch, we came across Liverpool, didn't we? And they're like serial winners. And in finals, we met top teams, Manchester City, Chelsea. They're all top teams. They're hard to beat in any league game. Well, Man City, well, they're our bogey team. But in the final, we lost to them. But the thing is, we do stupid things as well. Like that Man City final, supposed to be Mourinho's final. And then we appoint Ryan Mason. What are we doing?
Oh, no.
It's a shit show, isn't it?
And like Mourinho, he's never lost a final, has he?
Never lost the final.
Never lost the final.
No,
We've sacked him before a final week before.
He lost with Roma. He lost with Roma once.
Wasn't the most sensible thing to do, was it?
It was
in that aspect.
It's a shit show. We've got to call it a shit show because that's what it is.
I mean, so Mia, go on then. No, go on, Ben. Go on.
No, so look. So you are happy? Would you say you are happy to get rid of Frank? Bear in mind, okay, the amount of GA he's lost from last season with the
I don't want to hear GA, Ben.
What? Okay, all right. I've got to say it. I've got to say it.
I'll tell you why. Because hold up, because nobody counted Harry Kane's GA when Ange lost it. Everyone said we didn't have Ange. He did not have Sonny. I do not want to hear Sonny's GA being added to it because that is just BS. Because we didn't have Sonny. He never had Sonny, so that does not count. Just like Kane didn't count for Ange. I do not want to hear that excuse.
Yes, Mum.
There's a load of BS, man, to add that in.
Look, I'm just trying to say, when you are trying to implement a certain way of playing, when you are... look, before Frank came in, our club was in a fucking mess, okay? We had a manager in Ange, who, by the way, I like, make no mistake of it, but, he would just throw caution to the wind. We haven't defended properly for 2 years straight. And Frank has come in. He's tried to settle the ship. He's tried to make us harder to beat, albeit it's not worked yet, but we are 4 months into it. Under Ange, all I am simply trying to say is that the speed that people have given up on Frank, to me, is absolutely insane. This guy is a project manager, so let him run the course. I understand the fact right now, right, there is no actual style of play, but I think what he's trying to do is piece by piece implement different things.
Piece by piece. I'm not seeing any pieces. All I'm seeing is a piece of shit when I watch this TV, man. When I watch it on my TV, it is dreadful. It is awful. It's not good to watch. It is just the most horrific football. And I'm not saying I don't think that Ange was perfect by a long shot, but at least we could see what he was trying to do. At least we could see what Conte was trying to do. We could see what Jose was trying to do, what Poch was trying to do. With Frank, I don't see nothing. I see nada. Nothing.
He's literally just setting us up week in, week out not to lose. There's
That's
no
right.
there's no training, weekly training on actual advanced tactics.
But
is he getting the time for it as well in that
But
aspect?
he's had more time recently, Dan. He's had more recently time. He's had a couple of games where he's had a bit more time, and we're still seeing nada. That's the thing. We're not seeing anything.
One thing I say here, going to the games isn't much better than the TV. I wouldn't say that much. In some aspects, yes, but in other aspects, no, it's really not. The attitude of that stadium at the moment is fucking atrocious. No two ways about it in that aspect. So, Sonny, how you doing, fella? If you bring your camera back on.
Yeah, you all right, mate? What's happening? You good? Can you hear
Turn
me?
the music off in the background. Turn the music off.
Yeah, hang on. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, can you hear me now, proper?
Yeah. Go on, mate. So, what do you think? What do you think about Frank then? Go on. What's your opinion on it?
Like everyone, I think he needs a bit of time though. Still, yeah, but what I'm seeing in the games is not good enough, man. Like we're used to seeing half decent football, yeah. Like I mean, like when you go to the end of the match and he goes to the fans and they boo him, right, and he walked away. It's like you don't need. That's this was like it's bad, isn't it? Don't you think?
Do you think that's got anything to do with the attitude he gave some of the fans though? Because he was the one who actually had the attitude with the fans at first.
Yeah, like I had loads of these things written out for the game yesterday, yeah, but it's hard because it's my first time being on here, so to chat about it, you kind of get a bit flustered when you're trying to talk properly, you know what I mean? But
it's easier when it's just you and one other instead of 7 people sitting on it. I totally get what you mean.
Yeah, but
wait, my man, listen, I'm new to this, and I know exactly what you mean, mate. Is the word you're looking for is nerve-wracking. It's horrendous.
Just relax, brother. Just relax. You done a good job, mate. You done a good job, mate. Yeah.
I feel like I was arguing for a fucking sinking ship, but yeah, sure.
You were, no two ways about it, but either way. But that's just an opinion. That's the thing at the end of the day. Opinions are opinions, and a lot of people just can't. Some people just can't accept that sometimes do you know what? You just got to say fuck it and agree to disagree. Sometimes you have to. Because sometimes otherwise you can just argue out opinions until the cows come home. Some people will take your opinion. Other people, you might as well talk to a fucking brick wall because they don't handle other people's opinions. Everyone is different. But on here, as far as I'm concerned, 9.9 times out of 10, I'll say, if that's your opinion, fine. It's going to have to be a fucking crazy one for me to say it that that's a fucked up opinion, basically. So where do you reckon like we got to go with Frank? What do you reckon he's got to do? Any one of you, go for it.
I reckon he needs money, yeah, and it's not down to him. It's down to Enoch and that to spend the money, yeah, because he's only had 4 months in charge, and like if they're gonna break this cycle, like they're gonna need to like we sold Brennan Johnson, yeah, that's our top 3 scorers we sold in the last like 3 windows, sort of thing, with Kane, Son, and Johnson. All right, they're both not strikers, Kane and Son and Johnson. But they scored the goals for us, you know what I mean? And like Kudos, he ain't got no like goal scoring threat in my like kind of like when I see him play. Johnson had the goal scoring threat. It would have been nice to see them both on the pitch together, but it's hard, you know. And like I've been watching Scarlett in the training, yeah, for the last couple of times. Don't he look really sharp? And like that, he put him in the bench like yesterday. And then he puts on Tel. Do you know what I mean? It's like, don't you think there should be a pecking order? And then like all these people that say we need to sell Richie and all these cunts first, yeah. We need to have there needs to be an order in the departure of the way we sell players. Otherwise, we're going to be left with nothing, and we're going to get relegated.
Mate, you got your TV on in the background or something? Someone has, because it's echoing like anything.
I'll tell you what, guys, for the quality that Frank has brought in thus far, and I do think it is reasonable quality, do you guys trust Frank going forward in the transfer market?
You've got to, though, haven't you? You've got to back him. Otherwise, if we get rid of him now, we're just going to be the laughing stock of the Premier League.
Yeah.
I don't think it's Frank that buys the players, bro. I don't think it's Frank that buys the players. It's Enoch that buys the players. Frank's just a coach, man. You get me?
But he must sit down with.
Surely Yeah, surely he's got to sit there and have some sort of say in it, basically. You would have thought so.
Yeah.
This is where I've said what I want to happen is for the club to make their mind up on, have a good idea of whether they're going to keep it or whether they're not going to keep him, then buy players for the club, i.e. get a solid centre mid that the next manager will use as well. I mean, Matt, how do you see all this one? Matt?
Does that mean now?
Well, you're the one called Matt, ain't you?
Yeah, so I can't see full screen because I'm still accepting all the stuff, yeah. But sorry, ask the question again, Dan.
How do you see everything that's going on at the moment with Frank and the way everyone's treating him or the way a lot of people are looking at him?
Well, yeah, I did come on with my camera, but 10 vodkas down and look like shit. But
doesn't do no favours.
I personally, I think you may be on the show last night. The Spurs 5. I kind of agree with Stel where he's saying that everyone who's won us a trophy has had some kind of pedigree, like they've at least won a trophy somewhere else, and Frank hasn't won anything, mate. So, like, as much time as we give him, I kind of agree with him saying that, yeah, if you chuck 500 million at him, then yeah, he'll come in the top 4, you know. But like, that's not what we're after, is it, boys? You know, like, I'm 43 years old, mate, and I've seen us win fucking 3 trophies.
Me too. I'm 43 as well, bruv.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And so I don't want
ain't doing no
garbage,
favours, is it?
man.
Yeah.
I've got 20 years on both of you.
No one would have
I'm
ever
41. I'm
You've only probably seen one more trophy and all. Like 1 or 2 more, innit?
Yeah, I've seen a lot of trophies.
I'm going to join
That's
you
what
lads with
makes
the
me more
43 club.
angst.
Big up the 43 club, man. Part of the
Yeah.
born in 82, man.
1982, boys.
1962, come
Old
on.
1882, 1982.
Joe,
Oh my God, Ellie's only 1 year out of actually seeing us win a fucking league.
Yeah. I come
But you'd
from a
have
big
never have
family of
thought so.
Spurs fans as well. So, we're
I bet that hurt.
1951. My eldest brother was born. We won the league. 1961. My youngest brother was born. We did the double. Yeah.
God.
So my family's big luck for Spurs. But
yeah,
Go
so
on,
is
Mia,
mine.
hit us with yours.
Hold on, 82. We won 82, and we won in
FA
2000,
Cup.
and we won in 2008 when my son was born.
Right.
That's it.
One at a
That's it,
time,
Mia.
guys,
Me
one
and
at a time,
you.
one at a time,
We should
one at a
become the
time.
managers.
You're all shouting that. Hang on. Slow down a sec. So, right. Question I'm going to ask then. I'll ask Kaz and Dave because there's a couple of others who want to pop on. Right. We need to get at least, obviously, a player in there. I'll go with you first, Kaz, fella. Who do you want? Who do you think we can get? What do you think we need most? And who do you think we can?
You know, if you asked me at the beginning of the transfer window, in the summer transfer window, it was clear that we needed a left winger. But now seeing this team play, you know, we need a ball playing midfielder, we need a left winger, we need a striker, we need a new goalkeeper, we need a new left back, we need a new right back. We basically need a whole lot. But let's just say an attacking player. I'd still go with a Lookman or a player of his profile because both feet, and he can score goals, you know, and get assists as well. So yeah, I'd go with a player of his profile. I know there were like a lot of fans like had reservations around Lookman because of, I don't know, like attitude issues or, you know, things going on with him at Atalanta. But as a footballer, he's a quality footballer with the type of experience that we need. And losing Son, we've lost a lot of goals, we've lost a lot of assists, and you know, there are not many players, like for example, like Kudus he's good on the eye test, but he's not gonna get you goals. You know, Lookman will get you goals.
Problem is, my man, he's played 16 games this season, 17 games this season, and only scored 3 goals and 1 assist. He's not having a great season.
No, but
it's not his best one.
Yeah, well, I would say, Benji, he didn't have a preseason, so he's
Fair enough.
Yeah, he didn't play any football pre-season, and then beginning of the season he was more or less left out the team at Atalanta, so he hadn't played any football. And you know, if you're watching the AFCON, you can see him sort of like showing his quality again and getting back to form. So I just think that he's a player that, you know, he just needs to play, and he would and the form would follow. So yeah, that would be my pick, to be fair.
No, I mean that's fair. That's fair enough. Right, cheers for coming on, Kaz. And
Yeah,
if you want to come on at any time again, when I have everybody on, when I have people on here again, do feel free.
Guys.
Cheers for having you on, mate. Appreciate
man.
it.
Thanks,
Take care of
Kaz.
yourself.
Bye.
See you later, mate. Dave, where did you go? There you are. Who would you go for?
January is always a tough one to get players in. I think if you could get at least three central midfield, I would. It's going to be a hard one to get, but I really rate Edison from Atalanta. Really rate him. Very confident on the ball. He's a proper box-to-box player. He'll be a hard one to get, but then I would probably settle for Conor Gallagher. More English blood. We do need some more English blood in our
Not one I
team.
say no to.
Boys, the only problem for me with Conor Gallagher is he really the type of player we need right now. He's in the 30th percentile for progressive passing. I don't. Like, I'm only basing what I'm saying off of what we need a midfielder that's going to come in and dictate play, right? Guys, I don't think that's Conor Gallagher. I don't.
But
I think that's back up to Paulinho.
Do you not think though? Sorry.
Sure.
I was going to quickly say, do you not think when he played for Palace how good he was? Because they played him slightly differently at Palace, and I thought he was really good at Palace.
He seemed more
Yeah,
attacking
they
at
played him as
Palace,
an
didn't he?
attacking
Yeah.
midfielder.
If we can get
He's
that
very
Palace
good.
version of him back, we'll be laughing.
Yeah.
Left wing is an absolute must. Absolute must. If I watch one more game with Odegaard out there, I think I'll cry.
Me too.
I was going to say Savinho, but he's injured long term.
Looks like he's injured now, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's injured long term. I really rate Akaluche from Monaco. When we played against him, he was tearing us to pieces. He was 1 minute he was left, then he was right, then he was central. We couldn't keep up with him. He's going to be a superstar. He's going to be a superstar. Malik Fofana from Lyon is another good player. Very direct, aggressive, running down the left-hand side. I think we need a left-sided centre-back, but they're very hard to come by. And the left-back...
So where do you think we most need the player then? Before I move on to the next one, who do you think is the one we need most?
It has to 100% a ball-playing midfielder and a left winger. Solanke will be back hopefully sometime in the next 1,000 years, so we might get to see him.
Frank said mid-January. He is currently training with the boys, so if that helps.
I mean, Kone for me, I think he's better than Walton personally, all day long, and not much in it. All right, then, Dave, mate, cheers for coming on, and we'll see you back again soon next time I have people on here. Nice to see you, mate. Have a good night.
Happy New Year, guys. Much love.
Happy New Year to you as well.
Happy New Year.
Take care.
And got one more on here who wants to say his piece. Dan, how are we doing, mate? You there? Nope, I think his mic's gone quiet. Nope, I think that's him done on that one. I think his studio done him or whatever. I mean, so who do you think? What is our most likely one? Yeah, there we go. Got one more in there. You're right, fella. I've tried getting you on here about 3 times. For some reason, it just isn't showing everyone. Right, out of question. Who do you think we need most? What have we got to go for? Is your mic working?
You're asking me?
Yeah, I just brought you on here.
Oh, wicked, mate. Yeah, listen, I haven't watched a lot of football, yeah, so I ain't going to be, like, say I know the best star player or anything like that, yeah?
Okay.
But I know we need a really good, like, right winger now, like, who can actually score a goal, like someone like Elise, maybe like a centre midfielder, like someone who's a really good ball playing midfielder, like we used to have, like Modric and that. Left back, I think we need a good left-sided, natural left back who can actually like play the ball with his left foot, like someone who's not injured, like with Doggy all the time, you know, and like a left winger, like someone who's a monster, like Son was, who could just cut in on the inside, cross the ball in, bang on the floor to Solanke, job done, bang in the box. You get me? Like we
It's
ain't got
about
no one like
realism
that.
as well on who we could get, isn't it? That's the problem with it. And
just
Yeah,
quickly,
I haven't watched a lot of football, so I can't really say that to you. You know, I'll say to you, yeah, get this player, but I'll just be lying to you. But I can spot a good player if I see one, but you know what I mean? It's one of them,
hey,
mate.
Sonny, there's nothing wrong with being honest, mate, but I will just say, did you say Elise a minute ago?
Yeah,
I can tell you there is more chance of me shagging Madonna.
that ain't
I
gonna
know,
happen.
mate. That's like getting Mbappe or something,
You saying
isn't it, mate? You know
Madonna?
what I mean, bro?
Hold up.
No,
I
but
was
you're
going to
right.
say
You
the
get
Queen,
me?
but I'm on YouTube,
Yeah.
so I don't want
But
to.
that's the kind of player we need. Do you know what I mean,
Yeah.
Gee? Yeah, we
it'd be
used to
nice.
have players like that, like Son and all that, but you know, but now we have to find a new one like that, a new generation. But that's another thing I quickly wanted to say. I reckon all our youngsters are one generation behind of what's actually required, you know? You see, like Gray, Tell and Odebert and that, I reckon I hated them when they first joined, but I actually reckon there's something about them now. But you need to give them a loan or something for a year or two, and then when they come back, they'll be ready, yeah? But if we keep them in our team and we sell players like Richie and that, like people are saying, we fucking need to get relegated, mate. I'm telling you. But we need fucking big players before we can get other like you know what I mean? Like there needs to be an order in departures, and like we're like one generation in our youth behind. Like if we can buy the players that you guys are saying to just catch us up now in the midfield. Bentancur has finished since he got done by Matty Cash. Like, but he gets a free pass because he's Romero's mate. That's what I think. Yeah, because he makes the mate drink and all that shit. Yeah, it's like it's all little cliques in the squad, right? We need to get all that clicky shit out of there. Remember when Mauricio Pochettino was a Tottenham manager? Yeah, he made the players walk on coals and shit like that. Everyone stick together like a team and club. Yeah, join and stay for years and shit. We need that, but we need the right players to do it with, you know. And I don't think this squad is the right blend or the right geezer to do it with. But thank you for so much for having me on.
No, that's fine, mate. And anytime I have someone else, people on again, you'd be more than welcome. It's just we'll be setting up a show before then to let people know before then. It's just something we've been doing to roll the show.
Yeah, I respect you all, mate. Thank you so much.
Take care of yourself. Take it easy, fella.
Cheers,
Thank you, mate. Nice.
Take care, bud.
I mean, I think I'll leave it pretty much at that one after I've just spoke to you two. Who do you want to go for, Mia? Who do you want to go for, Ellie? Who do you think we need to get? And someone, I'm just reading something in the chat. I mean, usually in the chat, you can talk about what the fuck you want. I really don't care. But don't start bringing up racism and all that bullshit. I don't need to hear all that. That don't need to get spoke about on the side down here. Just keep it a majority about football. I mean, if you want to say something about someone, keep it at a certain level as such. You don't have to call them a fucking cunt. Just call them a prick. You know, just keep it like that. Anyway, you two, who do you think we really need?
Me personally, we need a creative in the middle and someone who can set the tempo in midfield as well. Because what we're doing, we're playing very negatively in midfield, right? And the midfield is the engine of the team, right? So you need your best players in midfield, right? And we haven't got our best players in midfield, right? So we need a creative and someone who can set the tempo, someone who can put their foot on the ball and control the midfield, you know? Someone who plays it simple, but then you've got the creative doing all the lovely stuff, you know, the through balls, the flicks, the tricks, you know. I'd very much like, do you know what, right? it's a hard one to call because there's some very good midfielders out there who fit the bill. I like Conor Gallagher because he's got the engine. He can set the tempo. He's a good number 8. He's not like the creative. He does his job, doesn't he? He does what he says on the tin. He gets up and down and he creates a tempo, right? And then I personally like Damsgaard at Brentford. I think he's a fabulous player. Honestly, I watch him, right, but he's been dropped now because they're going for a more defensive style of football, right? And he's been scapegoated, right? But you see him last year, he was fabulous for Brentford, right? And he's got the juice, right? And he knows how to play a ball, right? And then up front, do you know what? I like Nico Paz as well. That's another one. Nico Paz at Como. I forgot about him. Yeah, he's a very good footballer. Can put his foot on the ball. He's a good passer of the ball. He's got the tricks. And then I think Lookman up front would be a good one because he can score goals. I heard the other boy say about that he hasn't had a pre-season and he's getting back into form. He's at AFCOM now and he's playing really well. So he'll be a good addition as well. But other than that, I think left wing, we obviously need somebody. But do you know what? I put in your chat earlier today, Dan, that we can convert Mickey van der Ven to that left wing. Because look what we did with Bell, right? And he's got the same attributes as Bell. He's fast, he can run with the ball, he's got good control of the ball, he can pass quite well, you know. I think we can convert him. Right, and then have, like I said, 3 centre backs, right, and play the wing backs, and Mickey could be on that left wing, because then we save ourselves money because he could do the job.
Why
I
do we
really
need
think
to
he
save money
can.
though? Why do we need to save money?
Just to answer a quick question, Tarquin, why do I wear the dark glasses all the time? Trust me, mate, it ain't through choice. They're photosensitive glasses. I have to wear them when I'm sitting there looking at a screen for a significant amount of time. I've got epilepsy. If I sit here and look at the screen up this close for a couple of hours and that, it wouldn't do me no fucking favours at all. And I don't fancy folding up on screen. So, but it's a fair question. That's the reason I answer it, because it does look different, I suppose, so people do ask. But go on, Ben, what you were saying, mate? Sorry.
No, I mean,
And it looks sexy.
I've got to be honest with you. Oh, yeah.
I look sexy with and without, Ellie. So.
No, I mean, look, for me, Ellie, number one, why do we need to save money? That's the last thing I think Tottenham fucking Hotspurs should do. I think we've been doing enough of that over the years. If I'm honest with you, I personally can't see Van der Ven on the wing. I mean, look, yeah, he's fast, granted, but when it comes to everything else, he's not exactly a technical player. He don't really have the feet. Look, listen, I know he did that one in a lifetime run from the start of the pitch to the end of the pitch, fine, but I can't see him out on the wing. And he's too good of a defender to do that anyway. But look, listen, for me, what fucking sucks, right, is Savinho has got injured. And I'm not going to talk about Savinho, but it's someone else at Man City who is unhappy with their playing time at the minute. You know who I think would be perfect for Tottenham? Because he's an established player. He's been there. He's done it. He's experienced. You know, offers a bit of everything. Can be an inside forward. Can create a goal. Again, he's on 300 grand a week. But Marmouche of Manchester City. So I held an inkling of hope.
I didn't see you come back on, mate. There was nothing back on the screen behind. I didn't remove you. You came off the screen.
To be fair, Matt, there has been a bit of a problem with stream at the minute. It's because the amount of people that are coming in and on, off and on, it's causing a bit of an issue.
I didn't kick you off or nothing, mate, or remove you or whatever, and nothing came up on the bottom that I can see. I mean, one fella, he tried to get on about 3 or 4 times, tried bringing him on, and he wouldn't even bring up with his camera on there and that, mate. So tell you what, if you want to say something, Matt, try and re-enter again. And before I end it, I'll bring you on here and you can say your piece on there. But I didn't kick you off or nothing, mate. And I didn't see you come back on the present or invite bit. So try again. Go on, Ben, what you were saying still.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I feel like the ideal player for us right now would have been Marmoush. Again, I know it was unlikely of us getting him, and with Savinho being injured, it's even more unlikely now. I understand the fact that he's on a lot of wages. I think he's on, like I said a minute ago, about 300 grand.
300, mate. He ain't coming.
But again, I just thought with the fact that he's unhappy with his playing time,
Okay,
I thought
try again.
maybe. Other than that, like maybe like in the midfield, I'm going to be honest. I would still go for Adam Walton. That's who I'd go for in midfield.
Do you think it's a realistic one we could get there?
Right. I'll tell you what I don't like about Adam Walton. I don't like the fact that his price tag would be fucking ridiculous. He's not a £100 million player. Make no mistake. I rate him. He's very progressive with the ball, and I like that about him. But the fact that they're trying to slap £100 million price tag on him, fucking give me a break. However, I did kind of sit and think to myself, I wonder, and again, this is just like a thought in the back of my head, I wonder, us doing business with him with Adam Johnson, with Brennan Johnson, I wonder if that's us kind of, hey guys, we like Walton. You can have Johnson, and maybe next season we'll see if we can do a, I don't know, maybe. But yeah, for me, I'd have Adam Walton.
I just wouldn't see that, Matt. I didn't take you off there, mate. It says device not connected there. I brought you straight up on there, and then it's saying your device ain't connected, and it took you off. So it might be where you're on your phone or something like that, fella. But I did bring you straight back on here. I mean, Mia, last I ask you, who do you want us to get, and who do you see us getting?
It's a very difficult one. Like, I'm one that knows all the bloody players that come. Like, I hear names. I ain't got like a Scooby because I ain't someone who watches immense amounts of other football. I watch some, but obviously not all of it. But for me, it's about balancing our team. Like, I feel like a lot of people say like they don't want youngsters, but they also want players that are developing. So like what Stel said earlier, you can't really have both. You've got to decide what we are as a team. And I think we do need to get some experience. We also need to have enough players in so they don't get comfortable. So for me, it's got to be the left-hand side. So left back and left winger, because nobody's competing with Spence. Now, Spence is all right. He's all right on the left, but he's better on the right. Lately, he's been doing my Sweden. When he goes forward, he just cuts because he's right-footed, he has to cut in on the inside. And he doesn't attack because of that. So we're losing a bit of that attacking prowess on the wide, like wise. So we're not going wide because we can't, because that's not his game. And I want someone to compete for that. And I also think he's getting a little bit big for his boots sometimes. And it'd be good for all of our players to be knocked down a peg or two to say, listen, you ain't no guarantee. You've got to work hard to get there. If you want to play, you've got to work hard. So I think on that left side I think we need a winger and a left back. I think they're really important players for us to get. Although I would think a midfielder, I think because we're playing around with Archie, then Bergvall, and then obviously Paulinia. Obviously, I do think that's somewhat of an issue, if you like. But we've got so many players in that position. We have to get some out before I think we get any of those in, if that makes sense. I don't think we're going to really get anyone in that position. So for me, the two most important players on that left-hand side, because I think that's where we're lacking. I really do think that's where we're lacking.
So, Mia, what are you saying? You think there should be more competition for places? Because if that's what you're saying, I couldn't agree anymore. I feel like if you don't have that, complacency sets in. Would you agree?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I do think like some of our players have become a little bit complacent. Like even with Porro, but if he's got him and Spence, and then you've got a Dogie and someone else, Joe, like you've got to have that kind of competition. And I don't think we have that enough because of the quality of our players. It's like at the moment we all know what's going to be played on the back four because who else is going to come in, innit? Because we ain't got no one at the moment. Like we could play back three, obviously, but if we play the back four, we know that Spence is going to play and we know Porro's going to play. So I just think that sometimes having a bit of competition in those positions isn't a bad thing. On the left, we need to probably sort something out, because at the minute we're not actually consistently using someone. We're putting Mawani there, we're putting Odebert there, we're putting Richie there. Like we need to sort Bergvall. We need to sort it out, man. Like we need to decide like what we're doing on that left hand side. Like
It's
otherwise,
like we don't know whether we're basically coming or going, do we?
that's it. And then if we've got rid of Johnson, now we've got no one on the right, but Odebert can go on that side. So he is someone that can play on both sides. But then again, so that means that Kudus is a bit complacent because he knows we ain't going to play Odebert over him. I feel like that's, something that's maybe why he's not being like trying to be a bit like more thoughtful about what he does.
Point. That's a great point.
I really do think that,
and
man.
his form has dipped a bit. You're absolutely fucking right, Mia. You are absolutely
he just
right.
knows, isn't it? But so now we've got rid of Johnson, like, that's going to be even more so now, because is anyone going to go above him? No, but he shouldn't feel like that. He shouldn't feel like he knows it's guaranteed. And that's why I think he's becoming a little bit complacent in what he does. I think the whole team a little bit like that anyway, because I think of the way we play. I think it doesn't make them like, when you used to do lessons at school, you'll be up for the ones that you enjoy. Like I didn't mind I liked history. I'll be up for history. But did I really want to go and do RE? No, I do not want to do RE. So you're not as like excited by that. And it just feels like to me that's what it is with Frank. The players aren't excited to play the way he wants them to play. So they're a bit like, meh. You know what I mean? A bit meh about it.
Yeah, but surely defenders didn't want to play the way Ange wanted to play.
I don't know if they didn't want to play that way. I don't think that they did particularly want to, but they also knew, like, he did change it when they went to him, Dan, and said that this isn't working. So that just shows he's not arrogant enough to think that his way is the highway, because he actually did change it and listened to them as players. He said, all right then, cool, boys, I'll do what you want. And then we won something with it. So,
Mia, you have a Greek bias, Ange Postecoglou. There you go. I said it. I said it. Said it.
No, because Joe, my all-time favourite manager it's not even Poch. It's Redknapp, man. I love Redknapp.
Was it?
Oh,
yeah,
Redknapp
man.
was quality. Redknapp was quality, but I'd still say my best manager was Mourinho, mate. Loved him. Quality manager.
I'll tell you why.
Next Tuesday, knew he was the bollocks and loved it, mate.
Do you know what? My favourite, I love Jose as a person, yeah. I love the way he is. But for me, Redknapp, he's the one who got us sort of started on that journey. Watching him with Bow and that and getting into the Champions League, like for the, I think that for me was really nice to watch as a Tottenham fan, man, because we was never on TV. And then we were because we was in the Champions League. Like that was magic for me. Like I was like, oh my God.
So you like a manager with a bit of arrogance, is what you're saying? Someone with a bit of
confidence. I want a bit of confidence. I mean, that's the thin line between confidence and arrogance. There's nothing wrong with being arrogant when you know you're the bollocks, but then you got to be the bollocks. But then you got to be willing to learn as well. I mean, you look at Ronaldo, one of the most arrogant pricks you'll probably ever meet in the football game. But you could see he was always still willing to up his level, get better. It wasn't just I was the best and he left it at that sort of thing, or that's what he thought anyway. You could always see he was willing to train hard, get into it, be part of it. You could always see he was willing to learn as well. And that's the difference between arrogance and then just being confident, extremely confident as such, in my opinion. It's a very thin borderline.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you can be too confident, like what me and you were saying, you can be too confident in a game and then you can be complacent as such. There's confidence and complacency, and too much confidence can make you complacent, in my opinion.
They walk hand in hand. For sure.
It's a very thin line. So, right, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to wrap it up in a second. Just want to say massive thanks to Seven for the super chat and the memberships. Much appreciated. I can't even pronounce that properly. What is it? Alza? Is that Italian? Aussie? A user, whatever. Either way, thanks a lot, mate. Much appreciated. And Jerome, thank you very much for the super chats tonight, mate. Much appreciated. And again, a user, that's the easy way to put it. Much appreciated. Stel, thanks for coming on tonight. All the other guests, thanks for coming on. Ben, wicked show to have a debate with Stel with tonight. Was definitely interesting to watch. You can definitely see a few people found that interesting as well. Any of you got anything else to say?
I'm just fed up, man. I'm fed up. Even when we watch, Joe, what? I don't go into games confident anymore. And I used to be. I'm quite a positive person. I would say I would never want to predict us to lose, but I can't even predict us to win anymore because I'm like, really? Oh, we're gonna win this game? I don't know. I don't know. And that's not a good feeling, man. To go into games and like Ellie, I've not been going to home games because I ain't hauling myself out of my door for all those hours. I live 2 hours. It takes me 2 hours to get there and 2 hours back in this freezing cold weather to watch that. I ain't going to do that. And that's not a good look, man.
And out depression, isn't it?
But guys, it's a new year. Right, we've got January. January's here. The club have changed. Are starting to change. We, listen, it's an exciting time. I know that game yesterday wasn't great, granted, but
wasn't great. Oh my God, that's an understatement.
Listen, I said this was Stel. Brentford are no fucking mugs. They've won 6 games at home, lost 1 and drawn 2.
In
no
the
mugs.
defense at home, I don't want to get deep into it, but in the defense at home, they have actually been fucking solid, Brentford, this year.
Mia, they put 3 past City, 3 past United. Yeah. They are no mugs.
I'm not justifying nothing or whatever, but they haven't.
No.
I understand they're no mugs, but at least go out to the game to try and win it. You do not go to games to try and sit there. He was happy with a point. He's happy. He thought we were going to get something out of it, which means he just wants a point. That's not what you want, man. You're never going to win games if you don't go out to win them. You're just going to end up either drawing or losing them. That's not football, man. That's anti-football. You don't go to a football game thinking, oh, well, we don't really want to win. That's not what you do. That's a loser mentality.
I agree here. Look, I'm going to leave it at that because otherwise we're getting a massive debate about it. We did not try yesterday when it came down to the crunch, and we didn't. But on the only defence I will have of it, if they haven't been mugs at home this year, they have got a very, very, very good home record, basically. And Tarquin there saying this woman is old school. Yes, she is. She only lived about 15 minutes, 20 minutes down the road from me, if I remember right, Mia.
Yeah.
Same sort of area grew up in. Lovely London area. All nice and friendly as it always is. And anyway, right, you'll be seeing me, Benj, and others back on here very soon. Oh, well. Good and interesting show it was. Thanks for all the chats. Give us a quick like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. It does help out a lot. Everyone, go and have a drink. Go and do whatever you're going to go do tonight. Have a good night, and we'll speak to you again later. Take care of yourselves.
Take it down.